nyakubahwa ninza kuyabasaba muze kuyama. Nyakubahwa ambassadors, nyakubahwa ministers, bayobozi ba diaspora, abafatanyabikorwa bacu uyu munsi, natwe members ba diaspora, twe nka diaspora ya Amerika by'umwihariko muri Dallas, Texas, dutewe ishema cyane no kuba mwabashije kubona umwanya wo kubana natwe muri Rwanda Convention 2025. Aho guhera ku munsi w'ejo hashize twizihizaga ku nshuro ya 31 kwibohora, abasore n'inkumi icyo gihe bafashe ya mbere banga gukomeza kubona igihugu cyacu cyiza cy'u Rwanda gikomeza kugwa mu icuraburindi, batanga ibyo bafite byose, ubuzima, imitungo, ubusore bwabo n'ibindi byinshi kugira ngo uyu munsi tube dufite u Rwanda rubereye abanyarwanda. Uyu munsi kuba duteranye nka diaspora nyarwanda hano muri North America ni ikimenyetso cy'uko hari abatubanjirije. Kuba kandi tutari turiho hano muri diaspora by'umwihariko nabyo ni ikimenyetso cy'uko hari igihe tuzaba tutariho. Ibi rero ni ahacu kugira ngo dupfundike ipfundo rikomeye kugira ngo ejo tuzagire icyo dusigira abazadusimbura. Abagabo babiri bahanye gahunda yo kubyuka bajya ku mubyizi, hanyuma umwe arabamubwira ati ejo mu gitondo ingoma niyo nkoko. Twebwe rero uyu munsi twabikoze, ingoma ntiyabaye inkoko ahubwo inkoko niyo yabaye ingoma. Nagira ngo mwihe amashyi.
Good morning, Your Excellency, Madam Ambassador, Your Excellency, Permanent Secretary to the UN, distinguished government officials, your honorable ministers, and esteemed community leaders, and all protocols duly observed. Good morning. It's truly an honor, it's truly a pleasure to welcome you all to the first ever Rwandan Convention, whether you're here as part of the Rwandan community or a friend of Rwanda or someone simply curious to learn more. Today is about building connections that matter, conversations that move forward. So our theme, as you guys may all be familiar with, connect, engage, and belong, isn't just a tagline for today. We're going to try to act that out. So welcome all, and we're going to go ahead and get started with our program.
Kuvuga nsoma birangora. Munyemerere nze kwisanzura. Sibyo? Ariko ni munyima amashyi ndongera nsome. Murakoze cyane. Uyu munsi iyi Rwanda Convention ntabwo yari bushoboke iyo tutaza kuba turi kumwe n'abaterankunga biyemeje kudufasha kugira ngo uyu munsi ubashe kugenda neza. Dufite umunsi mwiza muremure imbere, turaza kuryoherwa. Nagira ngo munyemerere twakire Bank, hanyuma batugezeho ubutumwa batugeneye kuri uyu munsi nk'abafatanyabikorwa bacu bakuru. Murakoze cyane. Murambabarire, aha nishobora kuza gusubira gusoma. Ntago ari Bank, ni Equity Bank. Ibintu birimo amafaranga ntago ari ibyanjye, murambabarire. Equity Bank mbaye niseguye rwose ntago nabitiranyije ku bushake ariko umwanya ni uwanyu murakoze.
Mu mwaka w'ibihumbi 2014 Equity Bank yatangije Equity Diaspora Banking ngo ifashe abanyarwanda baba mu mahanga kubona serivisi za banki mu rwababyaye. Dore inshamake y'ibyaranze urugendo rw'imyaka irenga 10. Turabashimira icyizere n'ubufatanye mwatugaragarije muri iyi myaka yose. Joyce Mukarutesi ni umuyobozi ushinzwe Retail and Personal Banking. Aratubwira amavu n'amavuko ya Equity Bank Diaspora Banking.
Muri 2014 ubwo Equity Bank Rwanda yatangizaga Diaspora Banking, intego ntiyari ugutanga serivisi za banki gusa. Twifuzaga guhuza abanyarwanda baba mu mahanga n'igihugu cyabo. Aha turavuga mu iterambere ryabo, iry'igihugu, iry'abavandimwe cyangwa inshuti bafite iwabo. Umunyarwanda uri hanze y'u Rwanda ntiyabashaga kubona serivisi za banki atahibereye. Yewe rimwe na rimwe bikamusaba kuba afite icyo akora mu gihugu. Kohereza amafaranga iwabo ntibyari byoroshye. Hari uburyo bumwe gusa buzwi nka Swift transfer. Ahanini bigasaba uwohereza kujya kuri banki y'igihugu atuyemo. Bituma dushaka abafatanyabikorwa twafatanya koroshya uburyo bwo kwakira no kohereza amafaranga ku banyamuryango bacu. Ubu dufite uburyo bugera ku 10 umukiriya wacu yakoresha yohereza cyangwa yakira amafaranga. Mu myaka ishize twagiye twumva ibyifuzo by'abanyamuryango bacu. Byatumye twagura serivisi dutanga. Ubu dufasha abatari bake batuye ku migabane yose ku isi. Turishimira ko abanyamuryango benshi bamaze gushora imari wabo babifashijwemo na Equity Bank. Hari abubatse amazu, abaguze ubutaka, abatangije imishinga, hari n'abandi bafashe icyemezo cyo gutaha babitewe n'icyizere bahawe mu mishinga bamaze kubaka iwabo.
Kuri ubu ikoranabuhanga muri Diaspora Banking ryarimakajwe. Serivisi zitandukanye wazibona wifashishije Equity Mobile App na Internet Banking. Abanyamuryango babona kandi serivisi zirimo inguzanyo zinyuranye, konti zo kuzigama, kwakira no kohereza amafaranga ku isi yose, konti zihuriweho na konti inzozi, aho uzigama ukanahabwa ubwishingizi bw'ubuzima. Umwe mu banyamuryango bacu uba muri Canada aratubwira uko yabonye serivisi za Diaspora Banking.
Maze imyaka irenga 10 mu gihe cyose tumaze dukorana, Equity Bank yambereye umufatanyabikorwa w'icyitegererezo. Byaba mu kohereza amafaranga, kwakira serivisi z'imari, inguzanyo cyangwa kugisha inama mu by'ubucuruzi. Nabonye ubunyamwuga budasanzwe. Nishimira cyane uburyo Equity Bank yita ku bakiriya bayo, cyane cyane twaba ari mu mahanga. Batuba hafi mu bigendanye n'inguzanyo, gukoresha serivisi z'ikoranabuhanga. Nta na rimwe nigeze numva ndi kure y'igihugu cyanjye mu by'ukuri. Ndagira inama abagenzi banjye bose baba hanze y'u Rwanda kwiyambaza Equity Bank Rwanda mu buryo bwose bushoboka. Serivisi zabo ni nziza, zirihuse kandi zirizewe.
Ni koko ifuni ibagara ubucuti n'akarenge. Mu kurushaho kunoza umubano na serivisi tubaha, twitabira ibikorwa bitandukanye nk'ibi biduhuza n'abanyamuryango bacu. Ni iki Equity Bank yishiye abanyamuryango bo muri diaspora?
Abanyarwanda rero bari muri diaspora tubayishiye serivisi, tubayishiye produit, tubayishiye ingamba, ubujyanama bugamije kubateza imbere mu buzima ubwo ari bwo bwose barimo. Ari abacuruza, ari abifuza gushora imari mu Rwanda cyangwa no muri Afurika. Dukorera henshi muri akarere ka East Africa ndetse n'ahandi ku yindi migabane. Twafatanya mu gushakisha uburyo bwo kwiteza imbere, ariyo ntego nyamukuru ya Equity Bank. Abanyamuryango bacu muri diaspora tuzi neza ko mufite ibitekerezo byinshi mukeneye gushyira mu bikorwa. Turabashishikariza ko mwaza tugakorana kureba uburyo twashyira ibyo bitekerezo byanyu, indoto zanyu mu bikorwa, bikaviramo amahirwe y'ubukungu kuri mwebwe n'imiryango yanyu ndetse n'igihugu muri rusange.
Murakoze cyane. Banyita Joyce Mukarutesi, Head of Retail Banking muri Equity Bank Rwanda. Iyi ni inshamake y'urugendo rwacu tumaranye iminsi n'abanyarwanda baba mu mahanga. For more information, dufite booth hariya mwadusura. kimwe nakongeraho hari product duherutse kulaunchinga in partnership with Sanlam Insurance. Uyu ni CEO wa Sanlam, reka itubwireho ni product ifite benefit ya interest on your savings ikagira na insurance benefit. 2 minutes reka muhe abari.
Murakoze cyane Joyce. Nanjye ndishimye cyane kuba hano, banyakubaha muri hano. Sanlam Alliance ni ikigo cy'ubwishingizi cyahoze cyitwa Soras. Abashoramari bo muri Afrika y'Epfo aribo Sanlam barambagije Soras barayigura, hanyuma bafatanya n'ikindi kigo cyitwa Alliance, ngira ngo hano murakizi, gikorera ku isi yose. Dukora ikigo cy'ubwishingizi kinini cyane cya mbere mu Rwanda gitanga serivisi nyinshi cyane harimo n'izingizi. Ubu bwishingizi rero nihuse ni ubwishingizi twafatanyije na Equity Bank, aho hari navuga ngo ni special saving account ituma iyo wayiguze uzigama ubu ufite ubwishingizi bw'ubuzima. Iyo uramutse ugize ibyago ukagira icyuba wowe n'umuryango wawe ukitaba Imana cyangwa ukagira n'ubumuga bwa burundu, uhabwa inshuro 3 z'ubwizigame bwawe wari umaze kugezaho. Aha bisobanuye iki? Birasobanuye ngo turakora, dufite icyo twinjiza, imiryango yacu ibayeho kubera yuko dukora. Ese ko tutazi iminsi Imana yaduteganyirije, cya kibazo nikiba cy'ibyago biragenda gute, abasigaye biragenda gute? Ubu bwishingizi rero dufatanyije na Equity nuko iyo uzigama ubufite n'ubwishingizi. Kandi so wowe gusa, ibi mubyumve neza, ni ibintu bitari bisanzwe mu Rwanda. Ntabwo ari wowe gusa, ni wowe n'uwo mwashakanye, ni wowe n'abana bawe ndetse n'ababyeyi bawe kuba kibafite. Turashaka rero ko abanyarwanda batuye mu mahanga bazajya baba bafite umutima utuje, kubera yuko abo bagira icyo bafasha, baba abo bari kumwe, baba nabo basize mu gihugu. Ikibazo nikiba, Sanlam ifatanyije na Equity turagira icyo dutanga nk'ubwishingizi bw'ubuzima. Ibyo rero ni ubusirimu, kandi aba hanze murasirimutse cyane, natwe mu Rwanda tumaze gusirimuka cyane. Ubwishingizi burimo kugera ku bantu bose mu Rwanda. Murakoze.
Murakoze cyane. Irembo ryo gufungura inzozi account ni Equity Bank. Nta haso zo kujya kuri insurance claims n'ibiki byose, ni Equity kagukemurira byose, haba onboarding na claim process end to end. Murakoze.
Honorable Minister, and all protocol observed, please allow me to now welcome the President of the Rwanda community here in Dallas, Mr. Emmanuel Sebagabo.
Mwaramutseho. Ngira ngo akavura kaguye mu gitondo, reka dushyuheho gatoya nyuma amasengesho amaze kutubwira iby'amateka. Texas ubundi harashyuha. Abantu bose mwaje muri iki gitondo mumfashe mbere yuko ngira icyo mbagezaho no kubakira muri rusange, twakire abashyitsi bacu bakuru n'amashyi menshi cyane. Murakoze cyane. Singiye kumera nka Sefu uvuga akavuga ngo hari ka banki kandi kakera cyane. Reka nyenze gusoma sinzacikwa n'aya mafaranga. Minister Nduhungirehe Olivier, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Rwanda, Minister of Education Nsengimana, Madame Ambassador Mukantabana, Madame Monsieur Ambassador Ngoga, Banyakubahwa bayobozi ba communities, inshuti z'u Rwanda, bafatanyabikorwa, nagira ngo mu izina rya communauté y'Abanyarwanda batuye hano muri Dallas na Texas muri rusange ndabakiriye, murakaza neza. Inshuti bavandimwe bashitsi bahire, muraho neza muriho, naha murahari. Mu byishimo byinshi n'umunezero, murakaza neza mu Rwanda rwa DFW muri Texas, mwishyukumu. Nyakubahwa Minisita, nk'umushitsi wacu mukuru wadusuye, ukaba woherejwe n'ubukuru, ndakumurikiye iyi Rwanda Convention n'abayiteguye bose, abayishigikiye, abayitabiriye bose, abari n'abari online turi kumwe. Abaraye amajoro bakora inama kandi bakeza Imana ngo iki gikorwa kibeho, mbaratire iyi community ya Dallas Fort Worth na Texas RCA muri rusange, kuko Texas yo muri Amerika umuyobozi wanjye ari buze kubagezaho ubundi butumwa. Nyakubahwa Minisita, nagira ngo nanone ngushimire byimazeyo ambassador wacu Mukantabana, ukomeje kutuba hafi cyane, akaba yarafashe staff zose kugira ngo zidufashe muri iki gikorwa kuva cyatangira, bakaduha hafi cyane. Baduhaye ubufasha bwose bushoboka, twararanye amajoro. Hari igihe nigeze mbabaza mvugana na DCM ntise muracyakora iwanyu aho ngaho, kuko abandi bose twaga turi kumwe iminsi yose. Baratugobotse aho rwari rukomeye. Turashimira cyane USRC leadership, abari mu Rwanda nanone bafatanyabikorwa bose twitabiriye igihugu cyaduhamagaye tugira tuti karame Rwanda. Turashimira cyane cyane sponsors, vendors, abantu bose baje ahangaha, kuko iyo tutabagira ntitwari kubivamo. Nyakubahwa Minisita, umushitsi wacu mukuru, nanone mu izina ry'abateguye iyi convention, mu izina ry'umuryango w'Abanyarwanda utuye hano muri Dallas, nongere mbashimire kandi nshimira Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika Paul Kagame wabohereje n'ubutumwa bwiza muza kutugezaho. Tufitiye inyota nyinshi cyane n'inzara, muzamuduhere intashyo, muzaduhere intashyo Nyakubahwa, uti u Rwanda rurasakara hose rutanga urumuri kuri bose muri bose, kuko ari we tubikesha kandi turamukeje. Ndabasaba ngo munyemerere soze ngira ndi mwakoze cyane kuza. Abantu bose mwashoboye kuza turabakiriye, ingamba zirakomeje, mugire impagarike n'ubugingo.
Thank you so much. President Manuel was saying that he was welcoming the from Rwanda, from Kigali, and he was also welcoming the senior officials that we have in the room. And other than that, thanking everyone for being here with us. So next to that, we're going to welcome the president of the USRCAs, all of them in the North America. So President Yehoyada.
Thank you very much, Amanda. Good morning. You must have come into the building after the coffee was out. Good morning. Well, it's wonderful to see you here, and I'm honored to be here this morning to be part of this great, great event. Honorable ministers, Nduhungirehe and Nsengimana, the ambassadors, honorable ambassadors, and other dignitaries here, we welcome you to this great convention. I must say, President Emmanuel, our local president here, was very, very gracious and short in words, and I'll tell you why. In September last year, that's when I heard of the beginnings of this plan to have Rwanda Convention. Now, he was very gracious by minimizing how much time it took. From September, now here we are in July, we've had a meeting at least twice a week. And then other days we had like 6 meetings. So I want to say, you did a wonderful job. And what I'm gonna ask, definitely. They were so well organized, they had 6 meeting teams. And without taking up too much time, we need to celebrate them. I'm going to ask members of each of those 6 teams. I'll not name the names of the teams or the team members, but I'm going to ask those members of those teams to please stand wherever you are. Some of them may be in the hallways doing their work, but I'd like to, anyone who was part of that team to please stand. Thank you. They deserve to be recognized because this is a homegrown, as in RCA grown initiative that was able to mobilize resources. And today, we sit here after many nights, many days, many phone calls, many emails, many texts, and here we are to celebrate an act come out of, born of everyone that lives in this country. We have about 22 states and 31 communities. Let me repeat myself. We have 31 communities of Rwandans organized in about 22 states. Thank you. What that says to me is, out of the 50 states, we still have some work to do to get into those states and find where every Rwandan is. We need to have them affiliated to a community. You didn't hear me. So in other words, if there is, niba hari umunyarwanda muzi utuye mu yindi state itari yanyu, mukaba mutamwegera ngo mwiyegereze, I'll come after you. So in other words, you need to find even those, we have like, I was recently in South Dakota, and about 20 students came from Nebraska. They drove many hours to just be at that event, meaning there are many Rwandans who are in some states, but they are not part of an organized RCA. We want those individuals. Reach out to them. Because as you can see, we are many, as Masengesho told us, tuzaguke tube benshi uko turi abanyarwanda. I may be misrepresenting what he said, but the idea is where a Rwandan is, they can multiply and be many. Now, let's leave the Rwanda Convention alone. I got some news for you. Today, you are here to hear for the first time, some of you, or many of you, we have a Rwandan diaspora homecoming. Okay, I don't, okay. August 6th through 9th, 2026, as Rwandans, we plan ahead. Now, you have no reason not to know, by the time you leave this place, that next year, 2026, August 6th through 9th, we are meeting in Kigali. Everybody who even clapped at that, tell 5 people of your friends. Let's go to Rwanda in 2026 after the World Cup. Don't miss the World Cup, but no, the World Cup is the mark. The moment it's done, we'll see you in Kigali, all right? And I want to thank the minister here, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and your staff. Thank you very much for supporting that initiative. Because from here, there will be no excuse. Why didn't you know? Go tell somebody, because you and everyone is invited to come to Rwanda. And I want to thank also Honorable Ambassador with your team for being near, for being present 24/7, not only just in these meetings planning this event, but we are grateful that you come to visit each of the states. And not only do you come just to say hello, but you come and you provide us services, much needed services among the communities. And for that we say thank you. And if you don't know what those services are, you can get your passport, you can get your IDs, you can get your land documents, you can get just about anything. I want to let you know, we are one of the most blessed countries where Rwandans live, and they have leadership that really, really cares. And this year, we had the opportunity, as somebody will talk about it later, where we were able to help with the Sangire Lunch campaign. You'll hear more about it later. But the Sangire Lunch campaign was just to try and feed a child every school day in Rwanda. That is showing that you and I, if we put our heads and hands and hearts together, we can not only be Rwandan here, build this place here, but we can help build the country from thus far. I thank you all. Like I said last evening, the fact that you're here and you heard the culture, you all, by the power not given me, Rwandans. God bless you.
Murakoze, aya mashyi ntago ahagije. Murakoze cyane. Nimunyemerere uyu mwanya ukurikiye twakire inshuti y'urubyiruko n'abakuru ntabwo yabasize. Taza kugira tubipfa. Ambassador wacu, Madame Mathilde, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Mwaramutse mwese. Masengesho yamvugiye ibyo nari kuvuga ubundi. Yeah, but Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Olivier Nduhungirehe, Honorable Minister of Education, Joseph Nsengimana, Excellency colleague Ambassador Martin Ngoga, distinguished representative of Rwandan community abroad, distinguished panelists, dear friends of Rwanda and compatriots, all protocol observers, they say, let me start by thanking our community, especially the leaders, Manu, Yeho, you've said enough. So again, it's the best thing when you have people who can speak on your behalf, because I'm just going to give you a brief thing. Let me start by thanking the community of Dallas. They've done abo bita abasangwa. You know, when you are the host, it really takes a lot, including mobilization, including preparing rooms, including cooking, all the things that you have done. And also for your warm welcome to the people, especially the ones coming from Rwanda, coming from afar. So thank you so much. The Rwanda Convention is a very important moment for all of us. It's a time of unity, deepening our sense of purpose and responsibility to Rwanda, and renewing the bonds that connect all of us wherever we are. So this convention is not only about discussing ideas, it's also about fostering belonging, sharing knowledge, and inspiring action for our nation continued progress. I would like to thank those who participated in the sports game as well, because your energy and spirit always reminds us that you have to have healthy bodies as well. So it was wonderful what you did yesterday. So looking at today's program, we are excited for really the discussion that are lying ahead. Reflection on Rwanda's journey over the past 30 years and how far we have come together as a nation, whether we are in Rwanda or in diaspora. Exploring how to continue building a knowledge-based economy and society. Engaging in economic development and investment opportunities, highlighting pathways to accelerate our growth. Delve into health and well-being, ensuring that no Rwanda is left behind. And finally, and most importantly, reflecting on the importance of diaspora in advancing national unity and resilience. As we assemble here today, I would like to call upon all of you, especially the young people, to seize your historical responsibility. Continue the work of the giants on whose shoulders you are riding. Build upon their sacrifice, courage, and vision. We are strongly optimistic about the sustainability of what Rwanda has achieved, even by looking at the people who are in the room here. Most of the people driving Rwanda's progress, when you look at all the people who came to present, who work in our ministries, who work in our embassies, most of the people driving Rwanda progress are young. They are our future, determined to avoid the deeply flawed politics that resulted in the devastation our nation went through 31 years ago. This younger generation has been raised in a governance system that is people-centered, where gender equity is and equality is the norm, and where security, public service, education, and economic opportunity are delivered to all Rwandans, with no one left behind. So let me conclude again by expressing my heartfelt thanks to the community here in Dallas, the United States Rwandan community abroad, and to every Rwandan who has traveled from across the United States and from abroad, and from Rwanda, because your presence here reaffirms the spirit of unity that continues to define us as a people. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Madam Ambassador. We are now going to transition to one of our other sponsors, I&M Bank. Again, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our sponsors, so I&M Bank.
Muraho munyemerere banze mbagezeho indamutso za I&M turabasuhuza cyane. Jewe uhagaze hano nitwa Yves Kayihura, ndi umwe mu bakozi ba I&M wishimiye kuba hano, kuba naje kureba bene wacu. Ndabona presentation irimo itinda, ndimo ndabona umwanya nanjye. I&M Bank, nimubibone presentation itangira, inyikirizo yacu ni karame. Karame ni umuco nyarwanda. Ni uburyo witaba umuntu wubashye. Ni ukuvuga ngo umuntu wubashye yaguhamagara amubwira uti karame. Mbere yuko dutekereza karame rero, cyangwa dutangira kujya twikiriza ngo karame, twaratekereje ngo ni iki twaha abantu twubaha baduhamagaye. Turicara turabanza dushyira ku murongo icyo dushobora guha community ya diaspora mu nyikirizo ya karame. Ntituzaze tubabwira karame gusa. Ikintu cya mbere rero muri bubone muri presentation yacu ni uburyo dufite partnership n'ibigo mu Rwanda n'abantu bubaka amazu n'abantu badevelopa ama real estate mu Rwanda, tukababera ijisho, tukabereka aho mushobora kubona ibikorwa by'amazu mu bikeneye. Abo cyo ni igihe mukeneye investment mu Rwanda. Amakonte n'ibindi byose byo ni ibisanzwe hose, ntaho utajya ngufungure konte no muri Amerika mufite nyinshi. Ariko turatekereza ngo ni iki wakorera iwanyu, hantu umutima wawe uri ni iki, icyo wifuza kuhagira. Urifuza kuhagira umutungo wawe kandi ukahagira umutungo utekanye umeze neza. Nimuza gusura stand yacu muri bubona abaparteneri benshi dukorana bubaka amazu i Kigali muri standard mushaka ku nzego zose zitandukanye, ku buryo ushobora guhitamo iyawe, I&M ikaguha amafaranga ugatangira kugira iwawe mu Rwanda. Ibyo bikaba inzira imwe ya yindi masengesho yatubwiye ngo iwanyu barabakumbuye muze dutahe, bikaba inzira imwe yo kuvuga ngo mfite iwacu ha kabiri cyangwa se ha gatatu bitewe n'aho mba igihe ngiye mu Rwanda mbi wanjye. Murumva atari igitekerezo cyiza? Muze kutwegera tubaganirize kuri ayo mahirwe. Turongera dutekereza ku bantu gutaha ufite umutungo mu Rwanda ni kimwe, ariko si uzataha ujye gukora iki? Yenda wari usanzwe ufite business wakoraga hano, wari usanzwe ufite akazi kaguhembaga hano. Dutekereza iyindi partenariat n'ibigo bimwe biri international ku buryo dushobora gufasha abantu bafite imishinga. Urifuza gutangira business mu Rwanda, ufite business usanzwe ukora, ufite projet yari inzozi yo gukorera mu Rwanda, dushobora gutangirana urwo rugendo tukaguha amafaranga yo gukora iyo business kandi ku giciro gitoya. Reka mbyongere ngo kandi ku giciro gitoya. Iyo ni tukitaba ngo karame. Ibyo bintu byose I&M bikora kubera yuko tuzi yuko twaje mu mahanga hano gushaka ubuzima, ariko iwacu ni mu Rwanda. Twese hano turimo turashaka ubuzima, iwacu ni mu Rwanda. Uwabasha rero kugira icyo atangira gukora iwabo hakiri kare, akazagera iwabo icyo kintu cyarakuze, ni inzozi nziza. Muze dufatanye mu nzozi tuzigira impamo. Dufite booth iri hari hasi, dushobora gufungura amakonte, dushobora kugusobanura uburyo ama application yacu akora. Iyo konte yari yose ufunguye uyifite kuri telefone, uwo mushinga wose ufite ushobora kuwasesinga kuri telefone. Inyikirizo yacu ni karame. Muduhamagare turitaba. Twishimiye kuza hano, n'abandi batekereza kuduhamagara ahandi turahari gufatanya urwo rugendo. Murakoze cyane.
So, thank you so much. We're now going to play the I&M video.
Welcome to Online Banking 2.0, the revamped I&M on-the-go mobile app and internet banking, designed to be faster, more convenient, and more secure. Step 1. Update your app. Through your app store, start by searching I&M Rwanda Retail app and click Open or Update. If you're using an Android smartphone, simply open your app and choose Upgrade. Step 2. Open the app. To log in, start by opening your I&M mobile app. Step 3. Username entry. Enter your user ID and password and click Login. Step 4. Authentication. Set up your login method by entering your existing password and click Confirm. Or choose the biometric option and enjoy the convenience of biometric login with face scan or fingerprint. Step 5. Login confirmation. Once done, you'll receive a confirmation that your login was successful. Step 6. Explore the revamped features. Now that you're in, it's time to enjoy banking at its finest. Explore a refreshed interface and exciting new features designed just for you. You've got all the power now, right in your hands. Go crazy with it. Bank on the go with I&M Bank.
murakoze cyane I&M Bank, ariko amashyi mubahaye rwose ntabwo ajyanye n'amafaranga. Turagira ngo muri uyu mwanya tugeze mu gihe kiryoshye cyane, turagira ngo duhamagare pano ya mbere igiye kutuganiriza. Koranabuhanga abantu muri generasiyo.
Thank you so much.
Iyi pano iraza kuba iyobowe na Jocelyn Kabageni, tumusaba ko yatambuka kuri stage. Hanyuma iraza kuba ivuga kuri reaffirming Rwanda values, staying connected to deliver the future we want. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda and Seth. Good morning, yo, Ngaramutse. It's both an honor and a pleasure to be leading this panel today, and I hope we are all in the mood of learning and also getting the information together. So as Seth mentioned, the topic for this panel today will be reaffirming Rwandan values, staying connected to deliver the future that we want. So this discussion will reflect on Rwanda's journey of rebuilding and also the core values that should unite and define Rwandans both home and abroad. So let's straightly dive into it, and it's my honor to welcome it's my honor to welcome the Minister of Menafet, Honorable Olivier Jean-Patrick Nduhungirehe. You're welcome on stage, sir. Second on stage, we're going to be with Mr. Philbert Haragirimana. Mr. Philbert Haragirimana, please come on stage as well. And please welcome them as they're coming on stage. Thirdly, on stage, we're going to welcome Mrs. Shiba Rujeje. Welcome her as she also comes on stage. And lastly, we have, excuse me. We also have Mrs. Philippa Chibugu. Mrs. Philippa Chibugu, you're also welcome on stage. Thank you so much, Honorable. To begin with the conversation that we're going to be having today, it's a conversation that is going to be both an opportunity of learning to the Rwandans abroad and also those watching us today. It's something that feels close to home for the most Rwandans. Allow me to thank you and acknowledge the fact that you came to speak to us today. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
To begin it, we're going to be asking the questions and also give you an opportunity to speak to the audience. But to begin it with the icebreaker, for you to say hi to the people that are here today. You can go ahead and say hi, but also tell us how the first day has been for you in Dallas. How far are you enjoying it so far? We saw you doing activities yesterday. Fill us in on that as well.
Thank you very much. Muraho. Nagira ngo ntangire mbashimira kuba mwarateguye iyi Rwanda Convention hano muri uyu mujyi wa Dallas. Nshimire community ya hano ya Dallas Fort Worth na US RCA ndetse na our embassy in Washington, ndetse na permanent mission yacu New York, kuko nayo buriya harimo abagize uruhare mu gutegura uyu munsi. Rero nagira ngo mbashimire n'ibiganiro byiza tuza kugira bigana mu kwibuka urugendo rw'imyaka 31 ishize ya uyu munsi ejo twizihije kwibohora ku nshuro 31, ariko tukaba tunareba ibihe bizaza. Niyo mpamvu turi hano ngo tuganire n'urubyiruko, tuganire na diaspora kugira ngo turebe ko twakomeza guteza imbere igihugu cyacu. Thank you very much.
Murakoze. Philbert, namwe mwafata ijambo kugira ngo musuhuze abantu hanyuma dutangire.
Muraho neza. Nk'uko bababwiye, amazina yanjye ni Philbert Haragirimana. Nkaba ngewe tuza gusangira ibyerekeranye na business nkora hano muri Amerika. Mfite business ikora amataxi, nkagira na business icuruza imodoka. Ubwo rero turaza gusangira uburyo umuntu yatangira business hano, kandi izo business dukora zikaba zagirira n'akamaro aho dukomoka. Imana ibahe umugisha.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, Jocelyn, and thank you to the leadership of the DFW community. As a Rwandan member of the diaspora, it's so great when you can work together with leaders who are committed to speaking truth about Rwanda. And so I'm honored to be here. I came here as a young child at 2 years old. To be on the leadership of the Rwandan diaspora means that even our children can take ownership as young Rwandans. And so really excited to have the conversation and to continue to advocate for our country, both at home and abroad.
Thank you.
Ngaramtseho. This is the most important point in my life, to be among Rwandans and Rwandans' friends and giving a message that is different from any messages that has been given here. It's a message about life and health. And before I even begin, I want to teach you 3 words. And once you think about those 3 words as we go through this, then you will be able to follow my presentation or my thoughts about why am I here, why are you here, and what are you doing to make Rwanda great? Because without health, we cannot be here. And health is your wealth. What are you doing with your health? So The 3 words, when I say them, please repeat after me. Ikunde. That means love yourself, those of you who can't speak English, Kinyarwanda. Imenye. Isuzumishe. Let's repeat it again. Ikunde, all of us together. Ikunde, imenye, isuzumishe. Kubera iki? Kwisuzumisha kare niko kwirinda nyabyo. Can you repeat that? Kwisuzumisha kare niko kwirinda nyabyo. So I'm going to be sharing my lived experience with surviving breast cancer. And I had breast cancer in 1994 when Rwanda was going through genocide. So every time we celebrate Rwanda's coming out, I am celebrating a year. So it is so symbolic that I'm here.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Philippa. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you short, but I want you to share your own experience in large or utubwire neza mu birambuye, and I will come back to you. Is that okay?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Honorable Minister of Minafet, let me straightly begin with you. As we said, the topic for the day is reaffirming Rwandan values and also staying connected to deliver the future that we do want as Rwanda. And you're here to share with us or give us the overview of the political situation back in Rwanda and how people can go forward and move forward, both the people here and also back home. You're also going to be sharing with us the geopolitical situation that is happening. If we can please start with last week's peace agreement between Rwanda and DRC, which was big news, especially for the diaspora who have been deeply concerned about the ongoing crisis. So given that there have been previous agreements that were fully implemented, today we want you to give us the overview, but also assure people how safe it is, because it's not the first time that it has happened. Rwanda has tried to make peace, so we are glad that the signing happened, but how can you assure people that this time is going to see it through and push through?
Thank you for the question. Friday on 27th June was the day for the signing of his historic agreement, peace agreement between Rwanda and the DRC. And we are cautiously optimistic, meaning that we are both optimistic, but there is also a bit of caution, and I will try to explain. We are optimistic because it's a comprehensive agreement which has 3 main parts. Actually, His Excellency the President talked about that yesterday in his press conference. There is the political, the security aspect, the economic aspect, and the political aspect. All those are taken care of in this agreement. There is another aspect, a 4th aspect, which is more a consequence, a positive consequence of this agreement, is the humanitarian aspect. But if we take those 3 main aspects, the security aspects, actually it's the agreement, the peace agreement has this security concern of Rwanda at the center of the text, because we have decided to together to ensure that this movement, this FDLR, genocidal force, is neutralized once and for all, which will allow Rwanda to lift its defensive measures. So this is at the center of the agreement, and we hope that if we achieve this goal, we will greatly contribute to peace in the region. So this is the security aspect. The second aspect is the economic aspect, which is also important, and we decided to make joint investment between Rwanda and DRC with the support of the US and US companies, because This region of the Great Lakes is one of the richest in Africa. And we have decided to manage jointly the common national parks, the Virunga and the Volcanoes National Parks, natural resources in Lake Kivu. We have the methane gas, as you know, hydropower on our border, the Rusizi 3 power plant, and also the end-to-end mineral value chain, meaning from the mine to the finished product that, as you know, that is used in electronics. So this kind of positive collaboration between DRC and Rwanda would be a good incentive for permanent peace in our region and also for prosperity of our populations and the growth of our economies. The third part, the third aspect is the political aspect. And here, it's mainly about dialogue between the government of DRC and the movement of AFC-M23. Because as we have always been saying, this question of the M23 cannot be solved without a genuine dialogue that addresses the root causes of the conflict. And the root causes, we know the root causes of the conflict, this persecution, marginalization of the Rwandan, the Congolese community of Rwandan culture and Rwandan language, mainly the Congolese Tutsi who have been persecuted since a long time by successive governments in the DRC. So now we hope that the ongoing talks that are taking place in Doha will be able to solve this, this situation, and we agreed in Washington to support this process. But beyond the negotiations between the AFC-M23 and the government, there is also the political dialogue within the DRC that will have to be carried out, but this, of course, doesn't concern Rwanda directly. And so we are optimistic because those three aspects are taken care of. But we are cautiously optimistic because we have an experience with the DRC of signing agreements without implementing them. And if we take only since the end of the Second Great War of the DRC, 1999, there was a ceasefire in Lusaka. Since 1999, there is not less than 10 agreements that were signed, but none of them was implemented by DRC. And even the movement that we are talking about, the M23, its name comes from a date of an agreement that was not implemented, the agreement of 23rd March 2009 in Goma. So we know that the DRC has not implemented previous agreements. And we know also, as we were negotiating in Washington and even in Rwanda, that there was still militarization on the ground with new weapons, with new attack drones, with the new armored vehicles, and new mercenaries. You know that we have new mercenaries on the ground now. You all remember the Romanian mercenaries that were evacuated through Kigali. Now they are Colombian mercenaries that were hired by an American company, Blackwater. So this is something that we should keep on following, but in any case, Rwanda will do its part of the deal, and we hope that the DRC will also follow through its commitment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister. Just trying to follow up from what you just said, as you mentioned, there has been prior agreements that didn't come to pass, and as it just recently happened, we as people who are not there, we just want to know, is there something that was done different this time that wasn't done prior? So that, yes, you said you're cautiously waiting for or hoping for better results, but is there something that was done differently this time so that people may hope that maybe with exactly the efforts of Rwanda and also the efforts of Congo, if he wants to put in the efforts, that maybe this deal this time is going to pass through?
You will remember last year we were engaged with the DRC in the Rwanda process under the mediation of President of Angola, João Lourenço. The concept of operations that was included in the Washington agreement comes from this Rwanda process. We had agreed on that. The expert had agreed on that on 31st of October last year, and the ministers had approved it on 25th of November. This we had agreed on, but that Rwanda process collapsed in December because of one issue, a commitment by the DRC to engage into dialogue with M23. Now, fortunately, the DRC government has evolved. They now accepted to talk to the M23, and we have now the negotiations that are taking place in Doha, Qatar, under the mediation of Qatar. So now, we are in a different setting where the issue of the M23 will be addressed. But as I said also, is that there is this economic aspect that was not in previous discussions, previous agreements. Actually, His Excellency the President said yesterday in his press conference that many people, including in Europe, including even here in the US, are criticizing the agreement, criticizing the Trump administration, but because they say that they have interest in the region, economic interests. So what? So having interest in a region, it's not a problem, provided that they are interested in helping Rwanda and DRC in achieving peace, achieving stability. We don't have any issue with that. So if we achieve peace, we achieve stability, and then we achieve also regional prosperity with a joint investment, joint venture between DRC and Rwanda, with the support of the US government and support of the US companies, that will be something important for the region.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So now, involving the Rwandan diaspora and also the youth that are in here, how can we Rwandans, especially the diaspora, better understand and counter misinformation that distorts Rwanda's position in the region? Because as we have heard from previous news, people say different things, and the region is, when you hear about it, it's like everybody's coming out for Rwanda. So as the diasporas who are not in Rwanda, who have the say and who can use their platforms, how do you think in your own perspectives they can go ahead and counter that misinformation and communication?
Thank you. Since January, with the fall of Goma, Bukavu, and other cities and towns in North and South Kivu, there was a lot of pressure in the media, with the governments. You heard about sanctions that were taken against Rwanda, and there were also misinformation, especially from Congo, in media, social media, portraying the conflict as a mineral conflict without describing the conflict as is. This is, of course, a time when we need the diaspora to be what we always say, that the diaspora is members of the diaspora, citizens, ambassadors of Rwanda. We know that as a government and embassies, we cannot get everywhere. I think it is important for the member of the diaspora first to understand this crisis, because it can seem complicated, but to understand this crisis. And also to talk to our embassies, the embassy in Washington, but also our permanent mission in New York and others in other countries, to understand the crisis, and also the RCAs that can get information, and then we can talk or defend the position of the government in our communities, where we work, where we live, And it's really important because the amount of misinformation from everywhere, from Congo, from Europe, US, was really intense. And we are here as government to provide whatever information you will need. This is why I'm here, and we can continue providing that information to help the diaspora, also working with the government, defending our position, because our position is the position that will bring sustainable peace in our region. We need to solve the security concerns of Rwanda, mainly from the FDLR, but also to solve once and for all this situation of the Congolese Tutsi and the Congolese Rwandophone who are persecuted on a daily basis, and then Rwanda is blamed for that. Rwanda is blamed for supporting the M23. So this situation also will have to be resolved once and for all, and we hope that the community and the diaspora will help us in that regard.
Thank you so much, Minister. I will come back to you. Reka dukomeze turi kumwe na Philbert Haragirimana nkuko yatwibwiye numwe mu banyarwanda baba ino mu mahanga ba hano muri Dallas, Texas to be exact. Akaba ari active a member of the Rwandan community and he's a business owner nkuko yabitubwiye. Philbert, ndashaka ko uza kugira inama urubyiruko cyangwa se kubaha morale no kubigisha uburyo bashobora kugera ku byo wabashije kugeraho, ariko udatwaye umwanya munini mu magambo makeya, watubwira ese byakoroheye ibundi igitekerezo cyo kuvuga ngo ugeraho ugeze ubu ngubu byagenze gute, usharinge nabo hanyuma nurangiza ubagira inama yuko babigenza.
Murakoze cyane. Biragoye kuvuga nyuma ya minister ko nge ndi kuvuga business bakavuga politike, ariko biruzuzanya. Twebwe nk'aba business men icyo dusaba nuko icyo tumo dusengera nuko ayo masezerano yajya mu bikorwa tukikorera business. Ya burya iyo hari amahoro business zigenda neza, kandi iyo hari intambara mubona ko ari twe bigiraho ingaruka bwa mbere, ibikorwa byacu birasenyuka n'iby'abaturage muri rusange. Reka rero njye ku kibazo cyawe, ntago biba byoroshye gutangira business mu gihugu nk'iki ngiki, ariko birashoboka. Inkuru nziza nuko bishoboka. Icyambere ugomba gukora nuko ugomba kubanza ugakora inyigo. Mbese business uzanye muri community, business ugiye gukora ije gukemura ikihe kibazo. Nkuko wari ubimbaje uti waduha ubuhamya ho gato. Nageze muri iki gihugu muri 2015 mu kwezi kwa kabiri, ariko nari nsanzwe nkizamo muri za Rwanda Day, kandi nari mfite abana biga hano nk'aba international. Ubwo rero ngeze hano byasabye ko binsaba nko gufata umwaka wose kugira ngo mbanze nige environment ndimo. Hanyuma maze gufata stability, kwinstara famille, nibwo natangiye kwitegeza ntese iyi community ndimo ni ikihe kibazo gihari nakemura ariko nanjye binteza imbere. Hakaba hariho rero abantu bakoraga business yo gufasha ama community yacu ndetse n'abandi banyamerika kuzuza amataxe yabo, ariko hano ubundi igihe cya taxe gitangira mu kwezi kwa mbere kikarangira mu kwezi kwa kane ku itariki 15. muzabibona hano muri Amerika ahantu hose haba handitseho ko buzuza amatagisi, nyuma yaho bahita bafunga bakigendera. Kandi buriya iyo wujuje amatagisi harimo ibintu bibiri, harimo ko ikigo cy'imisoro kigusubiza amafaranga niba hari ayo bagusubiza, cyangwa se kikakira aho wishyuye niba hari ayo wishyura. Ariko nanone bakora ubugenzuzi, icyo bita audit. Rero abantu bacu bahuraga n'ikibazo kuko iyo bakorerwaga audit, ikigo cy'imisoro kikuzanira impapuro nyinshi cyane ziba zinateye ubwoba, abenshi batazi no kuzisoma, bikabagora, noneho za ofisi zarafunguye. Twebwe rero twazanye agashya, kampani yanjye yitwa I&M Tax Services. Agashya kacu cyangwa se ubudasa bwacu nuko dufungura guhera mu kwezi kwa mbere kugeza mu kwezi kwa 12, kandi tukaba available on phone ku buryo udukeneye wari wese atubona ikibazo cye tukagisubiza. Ako rero kabaye agashya ku buryo abantu batangiye ari bake, ariko ubu ngubu tumaze kugira abantu benshi, ndetse dukorera muri state zose za Amerika. Ntabwo dukorera hano muri Dallas Fort Worth gusa, ahubwo dukorera muri state zose za Amerika. Ni ukuvuga ngo rero twakemuye ikibazo cyari gihari, ariko natwe twiteza imbere. Hanyuma ubwo ni ukuvuga ngo rero nk'urubyiruko ugomba kumenya ngo niba ngiye gufungura business ni ikihe kibazo nje gukemura. Icyo ni icya mbere. Ikindi cya kabiri, ni akahe gashya cyangwa se ni ubuhe budasa wowe uzanyemo niba hari abandi bakompetita bari bahari. Icya gatatu ni ukumenya ko gukora business ntabwo ari uguhita usimbuka ngo uhite ugera ku mafaranga uwo mwanya, bigenda bizamuka. Nk'ubu dutangira ngira ngo twatangiranye n'abantu 80, ariko ubu tugeze hafi mu 1000. Abantu 80 na fees twishyuza ntago zishobora gukavaringa cost zanjye z'umwaka ngo zishyure ofisi, zinyishyure n'abandi bakozi nkoresha. Ariko ntago nacitse intege, naravuze ni ubwo ngize 80 bwa mbere, ubutaha nzakuba kabiri, babijana 60, ubutaha nzakuba gatatu, gutyo. Ubwo twatangiye muri 2016, ubu turi muri 2025, murumva aho tugeze. Indi business nkora ni yitwa nayo I&M Auto Center, icuruza imodoka. Ni ikintu umuntu wese yabona iyo ugeze hano muri Amerika, cyane hano tuye Dallas Fort Worth, Texas muri rusange. Ntago tugira amabisi menshi, muraza kubyibonera. Nta nubwo tugira amaterene menshi, muraza no kubyibonera. Ni ukuvuga ngo umuntu wese iyo ugeze hano, ikintu cya mbere utawiguhitira kugura niki ni imodoka. Hanyuma umwana wese ugeze imyaka 15 hano muri Amerika, ugomba gukora uko ushoboye niba uri umubyeyi we ukamugurira iki imodoka. Nutayimugurira ubu uzajya ujya kumutwara buri munsi umujyana ku ishuri, kandi ntabwo uzabishobora. Imodoka kandi tugura zihura na accident, kuko turirukanka cyane hano, ama accident hano bari menshi. Ubwo rero iyo bakoze accident insurance kwishyura, ubu ukeneye kuri iki indi modoka. Hano muri Amerika rero cyangwa hano Texas, imodoka ni nk'isuka iwacu. So ubwo rero naravuze nti iyi modoka uzicuruje hano uko byagenda kose zigomba kugurwa. Ubwo rero dufite indi company yitwa I&M Auto Center icuruza imodoka. Nk'urubyiruko rero murumva ko izo business nebyiri nuko nazitangiye. Utangirira ku modoka zitari nyinshi, ushobora gutangirira ku modoka 10 cyangwa se 5, kuko tuzigura muri cyamunara, ukazitunganya ukazigurisha. Uko gurisha ni kugenda urangura n'izindi, kandi ku mwaka ugenda utambuka niko imodoka ucuruza zigenda ziyongera. Ngira ngo najya ku kibazo cya kabiri. Murakoze cyane.
Urakoze cyane Philbert, mwamukomera amashyi. Murakoze cyane. nk'uko wari ubivuze urumva byose ni ukuzuzanya politiki ikagenda neza abantu bakiteza imbere ni nayo mpamvu turi hano uyu munsi kugira ngo tumenye yego se byagenda gute kugira ngo abantu biteze imbere kandi turagushimiye ko ubashije kubahereza uburyo byawe byagenze murumva ko bishoboka abamukeneye for more information bashobora kuza kumwegera nyuma y'ino pano akababwira uko yabigenje akagira uwo afasha muri twebwe hano urakoze cyane Philbert reka rero nge kuri Shiba nkuko twabivuze n'ubundi we are here to inspire people but also give them a way or show them a way on how they can go and better themselves but also supporting the country while doing that so Mrs. Shiba Rujeje she used to serve on the US Rwandan community abroad which is a USRCA and she's professionally involved in healthcare and she also has an initiative called Homecoming Initiative. One of the keynote speakers spoke about it. Mrs. Shiba, please briefly go ahead and tell us about the Homecoming Initiative and I will go ahead and ask you the last question. Let's just use the time respectfully. Thank you.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Yes, I'm so excited that we can announce the endorsement of MINIFED. Thank you, Minister Olivier and the team from MINIFED, Sandrine. Diaspora Homecoming is going to be in summer 2026, and we invite the world to Kigali. And I think that when we talk about misinformation, and Michelle Obama is one of my icons, and she says, when they go low, we go high. Right? So that should be a mantra for Rwanda. So people can say negative things about Rwanda, but we are going to go high. And we're going to invite the world to come to Rwanda next summer in August so that we can tell our own story. Because you can only tell people so much, but when they see it for themselves. When I go to Rwanda, I was in Rwanda in March. We're launching an initiative with the Ministry of Health to help maternal health with at-risk pregnant women. And I went to Auntie Philippa, Auntie Pink as we call her, to her pink house in Kanombe. It's different from when Auntie Philippa would tell me about the pink house than when I actually went to the pink house. And I saw the work of the women. And I saw her 30 years of sacrifice as a breast cancer survivor. So that's why we need to also go to the pink house. I also saw when we met with MINIFED and we see the hard work that our RCAs are supported and are cheered on in our embassy. And so it's that collective ownership. We shouldn't let someone else tell our story. We're not observers or onlookers. We are our storytellers. We are the bridge builders for Rwanda. And so I challenge you all to learn more about Homecoming. In January, when we started getting a lot of the negative press about the conflict in DRC, there was a young girl who was in a high school in Maryland. And her teacher actually told her, they were representing Rwanda, her and two other classmates, that your president does bad things or he's killing people. Do you imagine a 10th grader, an American, who's being told by an American teacher? Her parents had to go to that school, and that's what we have to do. If someone talks badly about my children, I'm going to speak up for them. So as a community, that is our responsibility. We are our own ambassadors. Thank you, Ambassador Mathilde. We love you so much. And we have to also support her, whether it's through lawmakers, whether our own friends, community leaders. That's what I'm passionate about. That's what we're determined to do. We have a rapid response team that reacted from the January and throughout the several months. And we have people in Rwanda, as well as here, that are advocates for truth. Let us be able to also share that ownership. It's not just the embassy, it's not just MINIFED, it's each and every one of us. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Shiba. I want to comprehend you for the good work that you do. And from the introduction, if you all heard what she said, she came in the US when she was 2. I love the passion that you speak with when you're talking about Rwanda. It's actually a real, true testimony that people can be abroad and still talk about and also fight for their country. So thank you so much. Still on that, you have been a vocal advocate for brand Rwanda and have actively challenged misinformation in the digital space. How can you, or what can the diaspora better, better organize and also respond to disinformation campaigns in your own experience, and also because you have dealt with it firsthand, but if you can go ahead and share with them, because the minister also did mention about that. It's happening all over the region and also all over the globe. How can these people, how can we in the diaspora make sure that we well represent our country with the information that we have, and how can we better do that?
Everyone is not as vocal as I may be. You know, Rwandans by nature, I think we're more quiet-natured people than the Congolese, for example. So they may go out and they might speak loudly, whether it's in person or digitally. So you got to find, where is your niche? Where does it resonate best for you? When I started doing some online videos or reels, I took, let's say, an aspect of ministers when he was speaking at the Human Rights Commission. And you take part of that and relay that and share those positive, clear truths about what is going on. You shouldn't depend on just different voices online, but go to actual videos from our minister, from other representatives that will be able to speak clearly about the crisis. That's one thing that we can do. Secondly, you also have to take the fact that just 30 years ago, we were in such a dark place. And there are a lot of people who are attacking Rwanda because they are just in awe that, is this really possible, right? And so we have to tell that this is truth, this is fact. So again, bringing people home, telling them to come and invest in Rwanda, that Rwanda is ready to do business, that there is a way where you can even register your business online, and within a day or two, you're open for business. That doesn't happen in most African countries. Diaspora Homecoming, for example, we're tapping into 300 million of the African diaspora all over the world. The African American buying power is 1.7 trillion with a T. And the global buying power is $3 to $4 trillion. And so we can use that to be able to lift up the right voices if we can be able to share the information and we can connect. We are an entity. We are a block. We are a movement that needs to be respected around the world. And that is economic respect, not just socially or culturally. And those are ways that we can use, whether it's social media, whether it's talking with our community leaders, state and federal representatives, to give the truth about Rwanda.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Shiba. Now headed to the last panelist that we have, Mrs. Philippa. You spoke about a little bit of your background and also what you do. And in regards of you surviving cancer, we are so glad that you did survive a cancer, and you're also an advocate for that. So you're going to be talking to us on the diaspora representability or representation. And so your journey from survivor to national advocate is incredibly powerful. I want you briefly to also go ahead and share with us what gave you the courage to transform such personal loss into a public mission, and how has that journey shaped your work in Rwanda today?
I am tempted to use the lessons I've gotten from them before I speak about myself, because this is something that we have to live in the present before we go back. I can't change what happened, but I can plan what is coming ahead. The minister talked about conversation, opening conversation openly with people who are against us. With breast cancer, you have to have a conversation. You have to break up and say, this is a disease, not a curse. The businessman talked about resilience. I am here because of resilience that comes with surviving a deadly disease. Sheba talks about going back and witnessing what is happening. You have to know the problems that are facing our country and devise or invent or renovate ways to deal with the problem. I am here not just as a survivor. I am here as a representative of what survivor leadership can do. I would like to thank our ambassador, who is a woman, by the way. I mentioned that. We need gender parity, and I give honor and praise for having a president who believes in that. Her invitation symbolizes the importance of seeing value and validating it. A lived experience, that is, having a disease or doing business and replicating it to impact the environment you are in. So, whether she knows it or not, lived experience has to be in the planning, in decision making, and in also policy making. Therefore, breast cancer survivor, ooh, that's a bomb. I guess it's endorsing me. We have to be at the table. That's why I said this is a symbolic moment in my life. And whoever has life-minded thoughts, if we are at the table, we're going to influence what decisions, what plans, what policies. And I'm so glad to announce that July 1st, the government of Rwanda covered treatment of cancer. The entire country. I am supposed to be an American, but we are going to be talking about belonging. My physical part lives in US. My heart belongs to Rwanda. So, to answer your question, because if I talked, you would stay here the night. I came to Rwanda after the cancer situation started with my sister. I lost my sister to breast cancer because she did not have services, or she did not know anything about the disease. She didn't have any conversation. She didn't have any resilience. She died. When I got mine, I lived in America. When I survived, I'm cutting short, I said, let me go and see what the status is in my country, Rwanda. 2007, zip, nothing. No oncologist, no services. Yet I met 27 women whose breasts had been cut off, in their own words. In the professional, it is mastectomy. Out of the 27 women, one of the women had had a medical error. They had cut off, please excuse me for doing that, the breast that was okay, and they had left the one that was ill. I want that to sink in you. because that's how your country was in 2007. Now, let's forget about what happened between 2007 and now. 2025, we have insurance coverage, and the icing on the cake is cancer treatment is covered by the government. As I was meeting the panelists in that room over there, listen to these guys. And these are things I pray for. These are things I dream about. There's a gentleman, and I want him to stand, please. Mr. Michael Fairbanks. In a matter of seconds, he says, do you know we are developing a cancer vaccine? No, a breast cancer vaccine, right? Breast cancer vaccine. That's not the only thing. It is being developed in Senegal, but is owned by Rwanda. People, you stand up and dance. Now, I have lived in the most powerful country in the world. So much money, people who know, who do research and whatever, so much money has been spent on research in this country. We lobby, I have gone to Congress with other women here in the US, and they've given money. But in my simple way, I see cancer as a business. They don't want to find out what is wrong. They want to keep us sick. But a tiny, little, beautiful country. You know what? I can't even talk anymore because it's beyond to know that Rwanda can be the first to find a way of solving breast cancer situation. Because breast cancer affects our mothers, our grandmothers, our sisters, our children, everybody. And men too, if you didn't know that. So, I can go on forever, but I can't. I would like to invite all of you to become your own self-advocate. How do I become my self-advocate? Awareness. Open up. Don't think it's a curse. It is a disease. Know yourself. And by the way, when I say know yourself and talk about breast cancer, it doesn't mean only that. It means all of you, men with prostate, testicular, I'm saying it wrong, but you know what I mean. Vaginal, anal. Know yourselves. And then do something about it. So I'm using politics, business, passion. I can't leave it here. I have to give it to you because when I do, I'm giving part of me, and that's what we all need to do. And we do that because belonging. Think about it. What is belonging? What brings us here? Get to work, go home, come home. Do you know sometimes I spend a year, 2 years in Rwanda. I have a husband and children in Houston. And because my husband knows where my heart is, he says, I can't complain. If I do, she will leave me anyway. So please clap for my husband so he knows that he did. And my son, who doesn't want me to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm bearing my heart to you so that you know you have to emulate what I'm doing in different ways. And I have a list which I have given our beautiful, wonderful ambassador on ways you can go back and do some of the things you can do. Homegrown situations. So what my son has done, and I want each one of you to visit our booth. He says, Mom, 17 years, that's how long I've been doing this program. You have done grassroots management with no external money. We have managed to directly impact 45,000 Rwandans, and that includes women, men, and youth, because we go to schools, we go to the villages, we go everywhere. So he says, we are going to transform your program and make it a model for Rwanda, for Africa, for the entire world. So he used technology powered by AI. Sheba has seen some of it. Visit our booth, do what is necessary. I'm not going to say what. Let's have this model, Minister, in Rwanda. Let's have it in all the districts. And once Rwandans are all free from this disease, including NCDs, then we can say, Africa. We have neighbors, Kenya. By the way, my organization is called Breast Cancer Initiative East Africa. So it's open. We have to all get out of our own selfish ways and we say, in the true sense of the word, let's make Rwanda great. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Shiba. Yes, before I come back to Honorable Minister, we will be opening the floor soon. If you have any questions written down or if you haven't written anything, this is your chance to go write something down. I will give the floor to people who have like 5 questions. And if you have any questions for the Minister, if you have any question for Philbert, Shiba, and Philippa, you can go ahead and use this as the opportunity to go ahead and ask them the question. But almost coming to the end of this panel, Honorable Minister, with the Rwanda's Vision 2050 and NST2 layout, these are the ambitious goals that Rwanda is planning ahead. And as we have said, we are trying to remember where we came from, but also hope for a better future. So can you please go ahead and share with us the Rwanda Vision 2050 and the NST2 layout ambition goals?
Thank you. So we are organizing this Rwanda Convention in the framework of the celebrations of Kwibohora 31, which was an incredible journey. And the President talked about it yesterday. So in 94, the country was devastated. And we could have rebuilt what was destroyed or repaired what was damaged. But we decided to be ambitious, to really build a country, a resilient country, and the results are here today, 31 years later. We have there was a Kwibohora, the day of Kwibohora on 4th of July, 1994. But every day is a Kwibohora for us, because after the Kwibohora of 94, against genocide, against ethnic politics, there is Kwibohora every day. Kwibohora against poverty or the transformation, socio-economic transformation of Rwanda. This is how we put in place those visions. The Vision 2020, you remember, that was put in place in 2000. At that time, I think the GDP per capita was around 200. But by the time we reached the year 2020, we were more than 900. Now we are 1,000 plus. And we are the next phase of Vision 2050 with new ambitions. 2035, we want to be a middle-income country with around $4,000 per capita, and 2050 to be a high-income country with $12,000 per capita. But to achieve these goals, we need to be ambitious. We need to have a double-digit economic growth, and the diaspora plays an important role in that. Last year we reached more $502 million in remittances for the diaspora, which has been steadily increasing since 94. In 94, we had only 12 million remittances, and it increased to 65 million in 2010, to 238 million in 2020, and now we are more than 500. And almost the half of this amount comes from the US. Because last year, remittances from the US were $233 million. So this is a good progress. But of course, we need to do more. It's not about just remittances, which are, of course, are important money injected in our economy, but we need investment in priority sectors that are offered for investment. I believe we will discuss it during the panel session on investment and business opportunities. But there are priority sectors that are available, like real estate, investment in bonds, in education, technology, agriculture, and those are important sectors for our economy. And we believe that if we are organized, and the RCA in the US is organized to have those investment in our economy, organized by the diaspora, the RCAs around the country, the US, but also around the world. And we believe that for the next 10, 30 years, we will increase significantly the amount of investment from the diaspora to Rwanda, not alone the remittances. And for that, of course, everything is connected, as it was said: stability, peace, and advocacy for the country. But also, the most important thing is to stay united as Rwandans. Because the community you see here, the community you see in many countries, is because we have decided to stay united. We have decided to mobilize Rwandans, to bring also Rwandans who are not part of the community. I think the chairperson, Yehoyada, said it very well. It's important to look after Rwandans, especially young Rwandans who are not members of communities, because they can be part of, community means you are together. You can think together. You can invest together. I think this is an important part, being united, which will allow us to play an important role in the development of the country by increasing investment in our economy. But we are really optimistic for the future because what I see here, the organization I see here in the US RCA, the organization we see in other countries, other RCAs, gives us hope that the vision that we have set for ourselves will be achieved also thanks to our diaspora that we have valued for the past years. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. A round of applause for the diaspora community. You have heard, you're doing a good work. May we keep on doing the good work, not only to support ourselves, but to go ahead and represent the country as we are supposed to do. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. So I'm opening the floor to 5 questions as we are running out of time. If you have any questions, again, for whoever is here at the panel, this is your time to go ahead. And the mics will be passed on, please. Let's just be time cautious. Thank you.
Thank you so much for allowing me to ask a question. I am not from Rwanda, but I feel a sense of belonging here. So my question today is, everything that has been said, it's really inspiring. As a young African, I'm from Botswana. How can I be part of what is happening and all the initiatives that you all are doing, and even changing the face of Africa, and even the vision that Rwanda has? How can we involve other African countries so that we can bring and make Africa great? Thank you.
Do you want me to? I can maybe speak in terms of, sorry. Yeah, I can speak to that. I think that one is that we welcome all friends and all members of the African community, American community. Rwanda should be home to everyone. So as our president said, we have, yes please, we have 31 communities, so I don't know exactly where you're located, but we have 31 communities in 22 states. And so one of the things that is very important is that we have usually 4 events per year that allow us to gather, and so we welcome you. We have a Kwibuka every April to commemorate the genocide against the Tutsi. As you're learning more about the history of Rwanda, it's really important that we bring into the fold those who can be even outside of Rwandans to tell the story to the other Botswanan community and others. So find out where the closest community is to you. What we've done in Washington, D.C., just was a homegrown initiative with some parents who started teaching children to dance Kinyarwanda, and to actually, we have language lessons. And it has blossomed from just being in someone's basement to a garage, and now where we rent a facility every week to be able to provide access to the younger generation and to other friends of Rwanda, that if you want to learn about our culture, we have an open door. So I would really encourage you to find out where the closest RCA is, and we welcome your participation. Thank you.
To be more time cautious, we are going to be taking 1 question at a time, and whoever is asking a question, please be direct to who you want the question to be to, or who you would like to answer your question. And because none of the panelists have where to write, you ask, then they do answer, and then we move to the next question. Is that okay? Yes, so you go ahead, the mics will be passed on, please help them, and let's just go ahead. You can go ahead and ask. Please stand up. You with the mic, thank you.
Murakoze, nitwa Serugaba Eric, nturutse muri South Dakota, ndashaka kubaza Minister ikibazo. Tubanje kubashimira kuko mwageze hano kubana natwe. Ikindi nashaka kubaza ku masezerano mwasinye, tubona ko nkatwe uko tubireba harimo imbogamizi mu gihe abantu bakoze genocide babaye integre mu ngabo za Congo. Ese ni ikihe cyizere nkatwe abanyarwanda twagira mu gihe bamwe bahinduye amazina bagahindura n'ururimi bavuga? Mu by'ukuri tubona hari imbogamizi. Ikindi ku masezerano Congo igirana na M23 na AFC, bavuze ko Congo yohereza abantu batari abapoliticiye mu gihe M23 yo ifite uruhare mu kugarura amahoro ndetse bashaka ko amahoro agaruka muri Congo. Rero ni ikihe cyizere twe twagira nk'abanyarwanda ko ari amasezerano azacamo? Murakoze.
Urakoze Eric kuri icyo kibazo bajije. Ku kibazo cya FDLR, nibyo turabizi hari hagaragaye ubushake buke bwa guverinoma ya Congo kugira ngo babaneutralize, kubera ko byanagaragaye ko usibye no kubashyigikira ahubwo babinjije mu ngabo, basigaye bari mu ngabo. Ndetse mwanabonye ejo bundi hashize ngira ngo kwezi cyangwa amezi abiri aho umwe mu general wa FDLR Ezekiel Gakwerere yoherejwe mu Rwanda n'abasirikare kandi yari amaze imyaka 30 irenga hariya akorana n'ingabo za Congo. Ariko ayo makuru yose natwe tuba tuyafite, yabo ba FDLR aho bari n'amayunite barimo, ku buryo kuba barinjizwe mu ngabo ntabwo bashobora kwigira nyoni nyinshi bati abo bantu muvuga ntabwo tuzi aho bari. Usibye no kwinjizwa mu ngabo, binjijwe ahubwo no muri Wazalendo, naho barimo muri aba aya mamilisi ya Wazalendo. Uko byagenda kose twasinye amasezerano, mu Cyongereza ni bavuga neutralization of FDLR. Ariko tuvuga neutralization of FDLR nta nubwo ari no guhita umuntu akoresha ingufu, ni ukubanza gusansibiliza abifuza gutaha nk'uko benshi batashye, kuko kuva 94 benshi baratashye banyura muri ya centre ya Mutobo basubizwa mu buzima busanzwe. Abahamwa abagize icyo bakora bafite responsabilité muri genocide bakaburanishwa, ariko abandi batagize uruhare cyane cyane aba batoya bavutse nyuma ya genocide binjijwe muri FDLR, abo ngabo bakajya mu buzima busanzwe. Ibyo ngibyo twabiganiriye n'abahuza nabo barabizi. Ni ukuzareba rero yuko guverinoma ya Congo ifite ubushake bwo kuwa neutraliza aba FDLR, ariko aya masezerano azashyirwa mu bikorwa rwose ejo bundi bizahita bigaragara niba babufite cyangwa batabufite. Hanyuma ikibazo cya kabiri kijyanye na M23 n'aya masezerano ahari, hariya ikibazo cyari ku byerekeye bamusubiza mikoro gato. Icyo twiyemeje i Washington nuko tuzashyigikira ibiganiro biriho i Doha hagati y'umutwe wa FC23 na guverinoma ya Congo. Icyo wari wabajije kijyanye n'ubushake bwa guverinoma ya Congo, kuko ubwa mbere bari bohereje abantu batafite ubushobozi bwo kwengaginga government ya Congo. Actually banohereje just note takers, abantu bafata amanote badashobora kwengaginga government. Ariko nyuma barabikosoye gato bohereza abantu bafite ububasha bwo kuvugira guverinoma. Ariko nyuma y'amasezerano ya Washington noneho umuhuza Qatar yemeje kubyongeraho ingufu ku buryo noneho guverinoma ya Congo muri mishyikirano izaba ihagarariwe n'umuminisitiri ushobora kwingaginga the government na guverinoma nako na M23 nayo igahagarirwa n'umuyobozi wayo. Tukaba twizera ko izi ngufu zizashyirwamo na Qatar na Amerika na African Union bizatuma noneho ikibazo cya M23 kiba addressed. Twebwe rero icyo tuzakora ni ugushyigikira ibyo biganiro no gushyigikira ko byatanga umusaruro.
Kubera ko umwanya uri kugenda udusiga, reka twakire ikibazo kimwe cya nyuma kandi tugerageze kwihutisha kugira ngo tukoreshe umwanya neza. Murakoze.
Thank you for your time. I got a question for the minister real quick. Recently, the Wall Street Journal reported that American AI-driven mining exploration firm backed by Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos is highly invested.
I'm sorry, maybe it's because, can you please slow down for us to be able to get the question?
Sure, I got you.
Thank you.
All right, so the Wall Street Journal recently reported that an American AI-driven company, mining exploration firm backed by Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, is highly invested in the peace treaty. Also, one more is Nathan Trotter, Trinity Metals, signed a letter of intent. My question really goes to the financial part of, the economic part of the treaty, which is how does that really benefit the youth? So these U.S. companies are coming to Rwanda for processing. How much more of the how much of the profit could we share, and how does that grow over time? But more importantly, these infrastructures they're bringing to Rwanda for processing these minerals, how do they employ youth? One. Two, how do we make sure it's a fair partnership? Thank you.
Thank you. In the Washington Peace Agreement, there is indeed a chapter on regional economic integration framework, which will deal with the economic aspect of this agreement. So there are different parts of under this chapter. There is a bilateral integration. Those are those projects that I was talking about, the joint investment between Rwanda and DRC. There is also the regional integration. We have discussed on how to integrate our efforts into the existing regional economic communities, especially the East African community, the CEPGL, the ICGL, all those communities. And we mentioned that we'll do that in partnership with the US government and US companies. This is a rich region, the Great Lakes region of Africa. There are plenty of minerals. You know that there's this narrative that we don't have minerals, but there are plenty of minerals on both sides of the border. And now with a different approach of working together on a value chain is important, because that will bring that transparency and formalization of this sector, which had a negative, I would say, a negative impression or negative narrative in the media, but yet this is an important sector for our economies. But the fact that we will sign agreements with the United States doesn't mean that it will be exclusive for any country. We are a country that is partnering with many countries, many companies of different countries that are allowed to come to invest in our country. So there are infrastructures that are being discussed as we speak, like the Rusizi 3 project. It's a hydropower project. The United States is involved. The European Union is involved. Even the United Kingdom. So this kind of infrastructure that are important. But there is something that is equally important that we will have to address. Because for any investment in this region, we need to be sure that the governance follows. There is a problem, still a problem of infrastructure, of lack of governance in Eastern DRC and in Congo, as a matter of fact. So, with the political dialogue that I was talking about, these issues of governance, fight against corruption,
so that we can focus on building critical infrastructures that could help the economic aspect of this agreement. This should be addressed. Otherwise, we can sign any agreement that we want. If we don't fix the fundamentals of governance, especially in Congo, in Eastern DRC, we won't reach anywhere. Actually, this agreement, this economic agreement, is yet to be signed because we mention it in the Washington Peace Agreement, but there will be discussions are still going on between all parties, DRC, Rwanda, and the US. And we believe that in coming weeks, this agreement will be ready and to be signed at the White House. Thank you.
Thank you. Allow me, you can go ahead. Allow me to thank you all for being able to participate and also give us a few time of your time today. Thank you so much for learning. I really hope it was a learning opportunity for you all. And the convention is still ongoing. We talked about going and getting to know people. So you can go ahead if you still have more questions. You can go ahead and link with anybody on this panel right after the convention, and you get more responses to yourself. Allow me to also thank you, panelists. Thank you so much, Mrs. Philippa, for coming. Thank you so much, Shiba, for coming. Thank you, Mr. Phil Bell. And lastly, thank you, Honorable Minister, for coming. Thank you all. I will pass it on again to the MCs, Amanda and Seth. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much to our incredible panelists for the insight. We are now going to have our MC and the DJ boost up the morale for a little bit. From there, we'll transition to a video from our sponsor. Thank you.
Ntabwo numvishe uburyo mwashimiye pana ya mbere. Twakongera. Murakoze cyane. Nagira ngo mbasabe tugorore gatoya amaraso atembere neza duhaguruke twegere hejuru DJ mfashe hanyuma tugeze i Rwanda rwa Gasabo. Tugorore n'umuhogo ariko. Murakoze cyane nagira ngo mbabwire ko ntago ari ugusohoka byari kugira ngo tugorore gusa umubiri mwakongera mukicara hanyuma muri rwa rugendo rwo kuza kureba u Rwanda reka dusabe umwe mu baterankunga bacu bakuru abari gusohoka ariko turabasaba ko mwagaruka hari abantu bari kugenda bagahagarara hariya hanze muri hall please mugerageze mu batugarurire abantu ba protocole mudufashe hanyuma dusabe umwe mu baterankunga wacu Bank of Kigali nawe atugezeho serivisi adufitiye. Murakoze.
Ngaramse. It's a long video. Yes.
It's the BK video. BK.
BK video.
How many nights you've stayed up grinding, all to build something abroad, while still holding it back at home. Well, what if home isn't just a memory, but a future you can grow into? What if your hard work, your vision, your passion, all found their way back home? Surely Rwanda, not later, not someday, but now. That money you've been saving, it could be doing more, not just sitting, but growing. With BKC investment, you earn in USD. No currency risk, no stress. Returns of 5 to 6%, compounding daily and paid out twice a year. And when the opportunity calls, you can borrow against it. Withdraw anytime, even use it as collateral. And yes, life assurance is part of the package. A home, a business, or simply sending support with no fees. You can open an account, invest, and send all with BK. Simple, seamless, and built for where you are now. Because no matter where life takes you, you haven't let go of home. And neither have we. Bank of Kigali moves with you.
Banyakubahwa muhagarariye leta y'u Rwanda muri hano, all protocol observed, abayobozi ba RCS batwakiriye, turabasuhuje from Bank of Kigali. Amazina yanjye nitwa Rumanyika Desire, I'm the Chief Digital and Retail at Bank of Kigali. So bampaye minota itatu, I'm going to focus on 3 things. Icyambere nifuza kubabwira nukubashimira the RCA US and North America kwa mwatwakiriye. Icyakabiri ndashaka kubabwira nkuko minister yabivuze bijyanye na remittance. It's a strong partnership. Nashaka kubabwira ko mu mafaranga yose beka ikoresha 10% of our liquidity is coming from diaspora. And more than 50% is coming from North America. So we have much. Icyo ni icyambere. Icyakabiri turumva bidahagije. We can do more. Twaje kumva gutega amatwi ibyo ngiye kubabwira mu kanya mu bitega amatwi byavuye mu bitekerezo byanyu. I remember when we met diaspora in Ottawa 2 years ago. I think it was the youth convention that took place in Ottawa 2 years ago. There was that complaint that if we ask diaspora to deposit money in francs to convert their money into francs, they are facing the FX risk. So we've addressed this. Today, we are launching a new product for you, designed, conceived for diaspora only. And this product was certified by the Capital Market Authority in Rwanda, the Central Bank, and it is called BK Capital USD Fixed Income Fund. Today, you are able to invest in USD. and you earn interest in USD. There's no need to convert your money and be facing that FX risk. And as we speak today, we can earn between 5 and 6%. It's simple. To access this, you've seen how it is easy to open an account. Just open an account, USD account. If you have already one, it's just to express your interest to invest in that fund. And then you can start as low as 2,000 USD. So because of BK is a local bank, we have a mandate as well to support the economic growth. You've seen our contribution to different infrastructure projects, power, electricity, industries. All this requires your support, requires money. But we have made it in such a way you participate to growing the economy of your country, but also you grow your money. So this money we'll be collecting will go into growing productive investment in different sectors that I mentioned earlier. So we welcome you. We have a stand down there. You just scan the QR code, and then you can start. So we think the 10% you have today can be converted in 40%, 50%, and you'll be a proud citizen by contributing to the economic growth, but also making money, growing your money. That was started, I think, a few months ago, but to show you how Rwandans are really participating in the fund, as of today, we have asset under management of 150 billion. So, francs, not dollar. So, your support coming in, I think, can make it 3 times, 4 times, 6 times, and then you continue to build power plants, electricity power plants, and other different infrastructure for our country. So the third one, I'm going to mention, I think time is up. We have created a foundation because we want to give back to the community. Ingrid, if you can wave, she's the executive secretary of the foundation. Every year, there's a percentage from the profit of the bank that goes into that fund. So we have done several projects. I think today we are supporting different pillars, especially education, whereby we supported, I think somebody talked about that to fund lunch, to Sangye lunch, that's where we're supporting 100,000 people or kids from vulnerable families to have lunch. So we put in 300 million last year, but it's not enough. We are also supporting scholarships. We have committed to do 1,000 scholarships every year to support kids from vulnerable families. So our ask today is simple. If you want to join this, you invest 1 franc, we match 1 franc. So the bank is ready to mobilize whoever feels that noble cause is calling to support and putting money. So we match, you put in 1 franc, we put 1 franc, and then we go together. So again, if you go downstairs, you will see a leaflet where you can find all the information that you need if you really have this calling in terms of funding our foundation. These are the main messages we have today from BK. Mostly is really to thank you for your support, for your partnership. We continue to participate in different events that you organize, and we'll be happy to be partners as well in terms of growing our economy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, BK. So we're now going to transition to our next panel. But before we do that, we wanted to thank the previous panel for the rich insight, and we'll now pivot to a topic that is exciting to many, investment and business opportunities in Rwanda. So maybe Arizona stand up more. I'm joking. But yeah, so we'll now welcome the moderator of the panel, Mr. Harbert Diego Mugume.
Muraho cyane. Wabasuza mu Kinyarwanda hobe hobe hobe. Hobe hobe hobe. Ibindi turabikomeza mu gitaramo nimugoroba. So we have an exciting opportunity to discuss business. Reka tuvuge mu Cyongereza kuko ubucuruzi bukorwa mu Cyongereza sibyo? Nibwo buryo. Yes, tugiye kuganira ku bucuruzi, business and investments, and I want to thank everyone here for joining us today on this panel discussion on business and investment opportunities in Rwanda. We're excited to explore the compelling value chain propositions this beautiful country of Rwanda has to offer. And actually speaking on investments in business, I remember this neighbor of mine back in Atlanta who I once consulted about investments. I wanted to know more about investments, and he's my neighbor and very good at, from the outlook. I asked him, hey, what do you think about investments? How do you do investments? He told me this. He said, I only invest in parachutes. I was like, why? And he said, because I thought it's the best way to bail out when things go south. So, I don't think we're going to only invest in parachutes here, but we're going to talk about a diverse sector of investments in Rwanda. And actually, without taking further ado, Rwanda is currently growing really fast. They are on a very fast track, if I may call it. So, as a hub of investment, business growth in Africa, we want to delve in diverse sectors today and identify key opportunities and highlight strategies to maximize value in the endeavors that we have here. So without taking further ado, let me go ahead and help me to welcome my panelists here. The first one is going to be Michelle Umurungi from RDB. Welcome, please. And we have next Mr. Michael Fairbanks. Ms. Michelle, welcome here. Take your second seat there. Mr. Michael Fairbanks, yes, welcome, sir. He's an investor and a friend of Rwanda, and we're going to talk more about them here as they're seated. The next panelist is going to be Ms. Louise Kanyonga from RSSB, the Deputy CEO. Welcome. Mr. Namara Huntington from Equity Bank Rwanda, please, welcome. And last but not least, best for last, we take Mr. Francois Tuishime from Yego Coffee, welcome here. All right, welcome guys. Thank you so much for coming over. So here's the stage and the structure of this panel. We're going to have a maximum of about 3 hours here. Is that okay? Just half of that. About 80 minutes, not even full half. About 80 minutes, that's still long, but we appreciate your patience with this because it's a very, very exciting panel that we're going to be talking about this business and investment stuff. And we'll give 2 minutes each. Actually, just to go faster than that, I'll go ahead and highlight it faster. And we'll give them about 45 minutes to answer the first question that we give them. That's a total of about 30 to 40 minutes. 4 to 5. 4 to 5 minutes, a max of 5 minutes, 4 preferably. And then we'll go to the floor. We have some key players in business and investments, one from Rwanda to here and another one from here to Rwanda. At that point, we'll open it up to the floor for Q&A. Is that okay? Awesome, thank you. So to start with, I want to introduce you to the first panelist here. Michelle is Chief Investment Officer with the RDB. She will emphasize on major investment opportunities available in Rwanda, highlighting sectors that are ripe for growth and innovation, and the diaspora, and how the diaspora can make impactful interventions in Rwanda. With a sizable group of US investors in attendance, she will make a strong case for Rwanda as an ideal investment destination for American investors. Welcome again, Michelle. Okay. Mr. Michael Fairbanks is, he's a Rwandan, by the way. I was talking to, Mr. Fairbanks did, there you go. Now, I have to share this. I have to share this. Did you know Michael voted in the last election for the president back in Rwanda? He went to the voting station up in Maine, and people were kind of, telling him, sorry, you're in the wrong place. And he was kind of, I'm in the right place. But thanks for being a Rwandan as well. Michael has been working with the president of the Republic of Rwanda since 2000. He sits on the Presidential Advisory Council. Yes, go ahead, yeah, that's right. And he was actually an economic advisor to the president and sits on the PAC. He's a board chair and co-founder of Rwanda-owned Akagera Medicines, a clinical biotech company focused on tuberculosis and HIV and RSV. Mike is a fellow at Harvard University and, of course, a citizen of Rwanda since 2006. We're glad to have you here again, Michael. All right, going to Louise. Ms. Louise Kanyonga is a deputy director at the Rwanda Social Security Board. Ms. Louise has served in different capacities back in RDB and as a strategist in the Office of the President. She will highlight RSSB's pivotal role in Rwanda's economic transformation and help both Rwanda diaspora and American investors to better understand the investment and social security opportunities in Rwanda. Thank you again, Louise, for being with us. Mr. Huntington Namara, the Rwandan diaspora has raised concerns about limited financing opportunities back home, and many wish to undertake projects in Rwanda, but frequently find the banking sector not being very responsive to their needs. With government restrictions on capital outflows from the US here, domestic banks in Rwanda remain the primary option for seeking to implement major projects for us and investors coming from Rwanda. So as a leader of one of the largest banks in Rwanda, Mr. Huntington Namara is going to provide us a broader perspective on how the diaspora can navigate these challenges. He also highlights the financial products currently available that are tailored to meet the needs of the diaspora community. Huntington, thank you again for being with us. And Mr. Tuyishime Francois is a young Rwandan entrepreneur who imports Rwandan high-end specialty coffee and has established an outlet in Boston, Massachusetts. He will share his journey of upscaling his business, the challenges he has faced, and the opportunities that the US market offers for such ventures. Thank you, Francois, again. All right, now we're all set. First question goes to Michelle. Michelle, what specific sectors should the diaspora prioritize if they want to generate profits and national impact?
Thank you. Well, I'll start by saying hello to everybody. Murahumngese. Howe howe. It's an honor and a pleasure to be joining you all today. I think I really want to echo what Ambassador said. To the RCA in the United States, the leadership of the RCA, this is truly a beautiful gathering, allows us, who are coming from Kigali to come and connect with the Rwandans in the US and give you a sense of what's happening back home, and particularly when it comes to business. How can you contribute to the business environment, to the growth, the economic growth of the country, beyond just the remittance that we heard, the numbers mentioned by the minister. We thank you for that as well. So let me just paint a picture of what's currently happening nationwide in terms of areas of opportunities. I think there was a question earlier in the panel about Vision 2050. So Vision 2050 is currently what guides us in the country. It gives us a direction of where we're headed, and we know that we want to become an upper middle income country. We want to be a knowledge-based economy, and for us to be able to do that, we need to diversify the sectors that currently contribute to our economic growth. One of them is agriculture. Agriculture is the backbone of our economy. About 70% are employed in this sector. However, it's still very how would I say, I think it needs to be modernized. We know it needs to be modernized. And so the opportunities that you will find in the agriculture sector currently are enormous. I'll talk about agro-processing. Today we have about 1.4 million hectares of arable land, yet our productivity in terms of yield is 40%. So we need, there's a gap there. How do we do that? How can we breach that gap through investments? That means that there's opportunity in processing, just the normal crops that we have. Pineapples, turn them into juices. We know that there's juice bars here. People are becoming conscious about health and wellness. And all these products can easily be grown at home. So how do we add value to our crops? And that's a huge opportunity right there. I think I'll be asking for a brokerage fee here after, with all the business ideas I'll be sharing. But so you have agro-processing, which is a huge industry that's growing, where you have opportunities to grow, to turn some of our crops into viable businesses in terms of goods and foods. And maybe to also give you another reason why this is an important industry. Currently, when you look at what we import, I encourage you to look at the data. That tells you what can be made and produced at home. And agriculture is right there for you in terms of food, for food processing opportunities. There's also, in terms of export, right? People tend to think that it's a small economy, it's a small, that's not viable for business. But that's not, you don't have to limit yourself to the domestic market. It's also open for exports. For example, chili. A couple of months ago, we were in China, where we saw that our chili is very much loved in China. There's, so opportunity in horticulture in terms of exports. That's homegrown for you to be able to export in other markets like the European Union, but also China. I know that agriculture is not a sexy, if you will, sector for the youth, but it is what feeds us, right? When we talk about wellness, it is what majority of us consume on a day-to-day basis. So when we think about that extra value addition or that processing part that's currently missing in the market, it's a huge opportunity that I would encourage you all to tap into. There's also real estate as a sector. Today, as we urbanize, as we grow, there is about 30,000 unit gap in Kigali alone, where you're starting to see the middle class grow, which means that there's more demand for affordable housing, but also in terms of mixed complex use, especially in grade A offices, there's also demand there. I think you'll see a lot of real estate or developers, companies that are here exhibiting. I encourage you to speak with them, talk to them. They're on the ground, and they'll tell you a bit more about the intricacies of that sector, but that's another interesting sector to look at. There's also the healthcare sector. Today, we talked a lot about health today, and so I want to emphasize health again, not only as a public sector, but also as a sector that has opportunity for private ventures. When we talk about cancer, right, we do not currently have any diagnostic centers in the country. So there is an opportunity. For many of you here, I think there are health practitioners or health professionals in the room. That's a low-hanging fruit. We know that we pay a lot of money to get our loved ones outside of the country. But that tells you that there's the capacity to have that, if we were to have that at home, for people to pay for those services. I think oftentimes the challenge or the perceived challenge is that these are not viable ventures. But if we're willing to go outside of the country and the continent to pay for those services, that means that should there be available at home, there's huge demand and viable opportunity behind it. But that's not just in the diagnostic center world, but also when it comes to private health, private clinics. We're starting to see, as our middle class grows, we're starting to see demand outside of public hospitals or public services. and a bit more customized and specialized healthcare. And so there lies another opportunity for the health practitioners. In terms of manufacturing for within the pharmaceuticals or the healthcare sector, there's also opportunities there. Today we have BioNTech, which is a strategic partnership between Rwanda and BioNTech as an anchor investor. What that signals, however, is that you will need ancillary services around BioNTech. And that means growing their supply chain. Over time, there will be a need for them to start sourcing locally. And so I would encourage, again, health professionals or practitioners in the room today to come and really look around and assess where the opportunity might be specifically. But this is just to give you a general overview of where we see the opportunities coming from.
Awesome.
So I spoke about maybe the last one, I would say tourism. Okay. Tourism is another contributor to our GDP currently. And so there's a lack currently of entertainment or sufficient entertainment for our visitors. So there is another area where you can think of businesses that could cater to that segment, to that market. But there's also tourism in business, in affairs, MICE, what is called MICE, meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. Today we are number 2 on the continent in terms of MICE after South Africa. That means, thank you. That means that we get a lot of conferences or retreats, businesses, people coming into the country for these conferences. And oftentimes they'll need accommodation, they'll need entertainment after those days of meetings and work. They'll need food, and so those are services around the MICE sector that also have ample opportunities. But in terms of technical services for MICE as well, if you're able to provide, let's say, specialized venues or specialized equipment to have hybrid meetings, that's also an opportunity in that sector. So there's a lot of opportunities we can get into.
Wow. Yes,
I'll
thank
stop
you.
there
For sure, thank you. I'm actually very amazed. Yes, go ahead, please, yes. I'm very amazed to hear of all these sectors that we can invest in, and these people have an incredible amount of cash to invest. And by the way, we're so glad to have even the bankers that can finance those sectors if we need money back home. And I'm very excited to hear what they are going to offer. Let me go first before I go to the banks, let me go to Mr. Fairbanks. What makes Rwanda more uniquely positioned for sustainable value chain development compared to other emerging markets? Please.
Is this working? Okay. May I stand up?
Yeah, welcome, please.
Yeah, my mouth doesn't work unless my legs are moving. So thank you very much. So the issue here is the value chain, right? The chain of companies that creates value that you can try to sell outside the country. How many people have heard of the phrase, the value chain, before in their studies or in government? Okay, great. So I'm going to tell you the story of a value chain that doesn't work, because usually you learn the most from failure, not success. And then I'm going to explain why things are going so well in Rwanda. So I was working in Colombia, the land of those mercenaries in the Congo, right? I was so disappointed to hear that, because I love the Colombian people too. And I lived there for 7 years. And one of the things I had to work on was taking the leather products and helping them export to Europe. But it's a really hard thing to do because Italy is in Europe and Italy produces the best leather goods in the world. But I decided I'm going to work hard. So I went to the exporters in Bogota, in Cali, in Medellin, and I said, why can't you compete with the Italians for market space in Europe? And they said, it's not our fault. No es nuestra culpa. It's not our fault. I said, whose fault is it? It's the tannery's fault, because they don't give us the right quality of leather, because they have no competition, because we're in an import substitution economy, so they can give us whatever they want. This guy's nodding at import. He's lived through the import substitution somewhere. I know he has. So I said, well, I'll go to the tanneries and I'll ask them what's the problem. And I go to the tanneries and they say, no es nuestra culpa. It's not our fault. It's the slaughterhouses. When they kill the cows, they get more money for the meat than they do for the hide or the skin. Okay, all right, so I'm a good researcher. I've got this figured out. So I go and I talk to the slaughterhouses, and they say the same thing. It's not our fault. It's the ranchers' fault, because they put the barbed wire around the cows, and then the cows are suffering from the biting flies of the region, so they scratch their hides against the barbed wire, and they destroy the hides. So I said, okay, we're almost there. So I go to the rancheros, the ranchers. I say, guys, why are you using barbed wire and destroying the hides of the cow? Because everybody downstream can't do a good product. It's your fault. And they said, no es nuestra culpa. Es la culpa de las vacas. It's the cow's fault. The cow's fault, yes. Las vacas son estúpidos. We have dumb cows in Colombia, and that's the problem. So you see the case study, right? No one's accepting responsibility. There's no competition in the country because of the closed regulatory systems, right? And so they don't have to cooperate. They don't have to trust each other. They don't have to innovate out of the situation because someone is always blaming the cow. Now, why is this important? Well, first of all, in Rwanda, we love our cows. The cows got a standing ovation in Rwanda. So what's going right with Rwanda? First of all, we embrace competition as a force for positive changes. It spurs human initiative. We feel like we learn from competition because even when we fail, we learn why we failed, and because we're Rwandese, we upgrade and we innovate and we make things work. Second, we embrace novelty. We want to find new ways to compete. So we have conventions in Dallas and Rwanda Day in Chicago and San Francisco and Atlanta and Washington and even, I think, London, right? So we're embracing new things. One of the most important topics is what the sociologists call spontaneous sociability of the Rwandan people. You actually tend to trust each other. When you meet each other in these crazy places, you tend to trust each other. That's what Francis Fukuyama called spontaneous sociability. America had this once. Wow. This was one of America's great secrets, is when an American met another American, he tended to trust them whether they knew them or not, and that's not going so well in America now. This is what you need to preserve. One of the reasons that the revolution was won so rapidly was because when people in the diaspora from Uganda, from Burundi, from Congo, from Brussels, when they all met each other, they had preserved their culture. They played the same games. What's the name of that game when you take a circle, a branch, and you roll it, and then you throw spears through it? Uguiro, what's it called? Who knows this game? All the people in the diaspora played the same games, ate the same food. Did you know the name? Yeah. What's it called? Uziga. Yeah. You all played that as little boys to see who could be the leaders in the village. It didn't matter if you were in Congo or Burundi or Uganda. You all played the same games. You ate the same foods. You had the aspirations of returning to the motherland. And that's something that most countries don't have. And that's why we're here today, too, to continue that kind of process. So the outlook for Rwanda is outstanding. You embrace competition. Your rules are clear. You pay your taxes better than most people in Africa and around the world. You have a shared vision. You're optimistic about the future. And that's why your value-creating chains, your value chains, are succeeding at a very high rate. So thank you.
Awesome. Give it up, please. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, how great is embracing competition with an optimism of the future? Thank you again. Just going forward to Louise, RSSB, and for those of you that doesn't know much about RSSB, it's Rwanda Social Security Board. What role does RSSB play in Rwanda's economic development, and what investment and social security opportunities that we have here in the diaspora there in Rwanda?
Thank you very much, Herbert, and thank you to the RCA, the DFW community, the ambassador, and all the different people that were behind this. Really, really honored to be part of this conversation. It's a very, very timely conversation around what the investment opportunities are. And I think from all the conversations we've been having this morning and into the afternoon, it's really about seeing where you individually can play an active part in shaping Rwanda's destiny. Rwanda is a country, and I think Minister Olivier spoke to this, which has a very bold and clear vision. And it's really not often that you have that combination, right, of being extremely ambitious and having extreme clarity. Often you'll find ambition, but doesn't have a very clear path. Or maybe you have clarity, but you're not pushing yourself to dream big enough. And we're extremely fortunate that we do have that combination, especially because of the leadership that we have. And so the ambition is, as you've all had, to be a high-income economy by the year 2050, and to be one that is knowledge-based and inclusive in terms of that growth. That can only happen. I think there's two really important fundamentals. One is obviously private investment. It's the only way that you can have sustained inclusive growth, right? Government, in as much as we're a very good tax-paying country, taxes will not be sufficient to drive the ambitious, the ambitions that we have. And so mobilizing private investment and private capital is going to be extremely critical for that growth to be sustained and to be inclusive. And the second part is really what we're talking about today, which is enhancing productivity, right? Value additions. I think sometimes when we say we want to be a high-income economy, it takes a lot. There's a lot that is involved in that, right? And sometimes I think we say it and it sounds easy, but we're often reminded that what that means is if you take the idea of the fastest growing country that you could think of, which is probably China, it means that we have to grow faster than China did, right? Which is crazy, crazy ambitious. The only way that you can do that is if you're really hitting hard on productivity. And so the question for us, and I think even in his opening, Masenje should tap into it, is how do we make sure that every single thing that we do multiplies? How do we make sure that every single dollar that we invest, or every single franc that we invest turns into 3x productivity, right? So for 1 franc, you get 3 francs of productivity. It's really the inflection point that we're at as a country. So the conversation around value chains is absolutely timely. Now, as Herbert said, RSSB, I think many times people, when they think about RSSB, they think that Tukuba Kamazu, we're a real estate player. That's really, I think, what most people know. But it's interesting that in almost all the conversations that we've had, I felt extremely privileged that a lot of the work that we do is reflected in what was being spoken about. Now, RSSB has 2 critical mandates. One is around social protection. We have about 6 social security schemes that cover over 90% of Rwanda's population. You had Philippa speaking earlier about healthcare in Rwanda. Rwanda is one of the only countries that has been able to achieve universal health coverage. You have about, yeah, I think that deserves an applause. You know, you have over 11 million Rwandans. That's, you know, close to 90% of Rwandans that have access to quality healthcare. That's a scheme that is managed by RSSB called Mutuelle, which I'm sure you've all heard of. Now, Philippa mentioned that Mutuelle is now able to cover cancer care. Someone, I think Michelle talked about how much money we're spending as a country to send people for treatment abroad. With Mutuelle, we are now going to be able to cover more more healthcare in Rwanda. For example, kidney transplants, which is something that we've seen an increasing incidence of NCDs. We're now going to be able to cover that in Rwanda through Mutuelle. And you might think, you know.
True. So that's what really motivated me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's such a beautiful story. And as I remember earlier, Ambassador Mukanda mentioned that the youth has grown in an environment where gender is the norm. And I think you really exemplify that and your result of that. So thank you for sharing your story with us. All right, and continuing the theme of turning ambitions into action, let's turn it up to Gael Karomba as a successful entrepreneur who's helping shape Rwanda's creative economy both at home and abroad. Mr. Karomba, how can the diaspora unlock full potential of Rwanda's creative economy, especially in the sports and entertainment industry? But I would also like to just add a question to that. Can you also talk about your work ethic and your discipline? And I think they say whom much is given, much is required. We have opportunities, but we also have distractions. Can you also talk about that as well? Thank you.
Thank you so much. But first of all, I'm from here, I'm diaspora myself. Reka mbanze suhuza abavyeyi bose b'aba diaspora muraho murakomeye. Nari mbakumbuye cyane. Yeah. So that's a great question. Actually, I get asked that a lot because I'm not from a background of music or sport or anything, and actually, my background is mathematics. You know, I studied math in my college and master's degree. I mastered in statistics, so I'm a numbers person. Even my first business here was not related at all on entertainment or sport. And, you know, I was just doing other things. But then when the time came, I went to Rwanda and found myself, you know, being called Coach Gael. In the entertainment and sports industry. So someone would ask me, why did you do that? As every good entrepreneur, I saw two things. I saw a gap and I saw an opportunity. So there was really a great gap in Rwanda, not only in Rwanda, but in East Africa, when it comes to the creative industry, the sport industry. There is no investors into those sectors. So there was that need. And another thing is, it's the opportunity that I saw. Actually, let me first lay this foundation for a lot of young people, brothers and sisters who are here. There's never been a better time than being an African creative than today. This is the best time. And I'll tell you why. From usually in the past, the Western world used to consume our art, to consume our songs and everything and our sports, but we're never recognized. But today, for the first time, when you see the Davidos, the Burna Boys filling up stadiums all over Europe, also here in America, when you sing from the Tyler to Terms, you know, topping charts everywhere. When you see the Trevor Noah You know, they're being called to host the Grammys. Now, African designers, African filmmakers are winning global awards. This is our time. This has never happened before. But right now, they are not only consuming our art, they are also recognizing it. And Rwanda, to me, is the best country right now that's positioned to really receive most of those benefits, and I will tell you why. You might say that I'm biased because I'm Rwandese, but I'm biased with, because I have facts. So right now, I think with the great leadership we have, our policy, we have, I think, the top infrastructures of sports and entertainment in Africa. From BK Arena to Amahoro Stadium. So those are things that really puts us in a position to really be on that global stage. But not only that, in terms of infrastructures, Rwanda has become a hub of events, from hosting Trace Awards, like those global awards, to hosting the most prestigious basketball leagues like BAL. We were also in the discussion to host the Grammys, and I think also we are hosting very soon the Cycling World Cup this year. And we also had some in the conversation. Maybe I'm not informed of hosting Formula One. No? So I always tell young people, even though Rwanda might be considered small, we are small, but we have a big vision. So, and that really puts us and puts our local talents on this spotlight that can really put them on those global stages. So those are the things that we really have that are going for us. But there are still some gaps. And that's why right now we're addressing the diaspora. The gaps we still have, the number one challenge right now is the mindset. Investors, some of our elders here, parents, you still think that sports and music cannot be a career. Ibintu by'imiziki ni byo ku cyumweru sha. Uraririmba sha ariko ujye wiga. Because that's the mindset we have. And even for some, and it's sad, but even for some policymakers, they still think that entertainment cannot really be a driver for the economy. But that's not true. Because right now, when actually you do some research, you realize that the entertainment industry of Nigeria contributes $300 million every year to the GDP of that country. And that number grows 13% every year. When you see just a small example that happened, actually, I think a couple months ago, Chris Brown, he went to perform in South Africa. They paid him around $2 million. For some people, you'd be like, no, $2 million? For someone to come perform? So for some people, can't even understand. But right now, it's documented. While he was there, that week, the economy of Johannesburg, they did make more. Actually, they say some research they say was about 40 million, but just go on the lower side. They said between 20 to 30 million dollars. The economy, just one person being in one city for 1 week, thousands of jobs were created. More than 100,000 tourists came from all over the world just to come and see him perform. So can you imagine one day a Rwandese musician or an athlete being our national pride like that? Because this is the difference between the entertainment industry, and other sectors. Because it doesn't only have the potential to drive the economy, the tourism, but also it has this potential to build national pride and global presence. You might own a lot of real estates in Kigali, but you will never be invited on a global stage here in America and come up the stage with the flag of Rwanda. But a musician or an athlete can be the best in the world and be invited here, and they will just wrap him in the Rwandan flag. So I think the gaps we still have, the mindsets, the technology right now, we still have a problem with digital monetization. We don't have IP laws in Rwanda. Actually, I was sitting with a great lawyer, but please help us. We don't have IP laws. IP laws, we don't know what IP means intellectual property laws. We are still struggling. In Rwanda, we don't have CMOs, those collection agencies, and it's a big problem because we invest a lot in doing one song. So sometimes you just see a video of 3 minutes and you think that's it. There is a lot that goes behind that 3-minute video. Sometimes, it's thousands of dollars. But we just put it out there, someone watches on YouTube, and maybe we collect some royalties here and there on DSPs, but then bars, restaurants, and radio station, TV stations, they play it for free. That doesn't happen here. That doesn't happen anywhere. That doesn't even happen in Kenya or in Nigeria. So we still have that. We still have those gaps. But I think the youth here in the diaspora have the knowledge. Actually, what we need the most, the technology to come and build those systems. And you have connections. You can be a bridge. So there is still a lot to do, and there is great potential. And I think our time is now.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you again for highlighting the incredible potential for Rwanda's creative industry and the role that the diaspora can play in driving that growth, especially some areas that are not as popular in that sense. All right, at this point, we would like to open the floor to questions from the audience. I've also, it just reminded me earlier today, as I was just exploring different banks that are downstairs, I got the opportunity to talk to different banks and different programs that they have and different resources. And I encourage you to do the same, but I think we have a comment from one of the banks, BRD, that has that same program. They have a program specifically, Kataza, that it sponsors youth and women in cases where collateral might be a problem. And from what I've heard, that happens sometimes, and that might hinder them. So they have a program. They have different programs catered to that. So I will let them come forward. Mr. Rangwa Wilson, I'm sorry.
Thank you so much, Pauline. As BRD, I think you saw me, they are talking about recovery. It's not about the recovery of study loans. We also finance projects in various sectors, which are the priorities of the government. Like they said, we finance agriculture, we finance manufacturing and export, we finance green energy. But specifically on youth, we are having a project called Kataza. It's a project that focuses on youth and women. Actually, 80% of the project funds are focused on women, youth, 20% on the male and boys. So we do two things. We give capital, but also we give guarantee for the same project. So we encourage you, diaspora youth and women, to come to Rwanda as long as you present your project, which is viable the funds are available as you can, enough the one you want. Secondly, it's not about only use. Like I said, we finance manufacturing, export promotion, green. We've actually, we came up with a fund that is specifically supposed to provide the guarantee for whoever wants to do business in Rwanda. The first guarantee is your business when it is viable, but also we can give you guarantee for your business. So especially youth and women, they're having a challenge of having collateral. So I can promise diaspora community, forget about the challenge of having no collateral. You are covered 100%. You are just required to come to Rwanda. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Arangwa. Yeah, continuing with one comment. We have a comment from Imable, if you're nearby.
Thank you so much. My name is Olivier. I'm also an educator. I have 2 companies that are involved in education. I've had the pleasure to work with Dickinson when President Insane was there. We brought so many students from Rwanda, and they were funded at a great level. My question is to the Minister of Education, what gaps can educators in diaspora come to bridge in Rwanda right now, and what opportunities are there for investments in education?
Well, thank you very much. I think there is quite a lot of opportunity when it comes to investing in education in Rwanda. We have a number of private schools that are in primary sector, like at the primary schools, but we don't have enough low-cost private schools. Let me explain. We have public schools and government-aided schools. Then we have high-end private schools, so that 10,000, 20,000 USD per quarter. But there is a huge opportunity in between the two, where you can have schools that are affordable and still make a profit. So I think we're looking to really attract investors who are in education, who would want to establish schools in that space. And if you look at the affordability of the schools and also the means that people have, especially young professionals, I think there is a huge opportunity, something you should look into. We will be working with RDB to put together a paper on this opportunity. And we are open to actually have conversation and create a package that will be suitable for those kind of investors. So if you yourself are interested, or if you know people who are interested, please tell them about this opportunity. Thank you.
I believe you have time for one more question and we'll end the session.
Muraho. All right, so my name is Linda Caneza. I am currently the Chief Talent Officer for a sports marketing firm in Florida. I am also an entrepreneur in Rwanda in agriculture, to be exact. My question is for Coach Gael. So Coach, first of all, thank you for being such a good mentor and motivating the youth on all of your platforms. I'm one of your watchers.
Thank you.
So mu by'ukuri ni by'agaciro mu diaspora mugenzi wawe mwigiraho byinshi. I learned so much from you. So my question, as you mentioned, Rwanda is currently in a great position to benefit from what's currently going on in a world where all eyes are on Africa, sibyo. But my question would be, what advice would you give a diaspora like me who, last year I started a call center in Rwanda with the sports marketing firm that I'm currently working with in Florida. Nagize amahirwe yo gutanga akazi ntago ari abantu benshi ariko mu Rwanda muri call center ariko ngera ahantu where I got basically stuck due to lack of connections. I've been gone for 20 years So I'm not too familiar with Rwanda, but I'm learning. I'm learning as as the days go on. So my question really, or advice, where can a diaspora like me start? Especially, I want to expand the call center that we have in Rwanda. We currently have under 10 employees, but with the expansion, there's a lot of paperwork that is needed that we need from Rwanda to connect with, with the company here in the US. It's just a lot of things that I could go into, but of course I know we don't have enough time. Where can we start, basically? That's my question.
Please, just hold on to your microphone. I didn't get you. So you were saying that you're in sports marketing?
Yes, I'm a chief talent officer for a sports marketing firm in Florida.
Okay, and then you have a call center, you mean in Kigali?
Yes, natangije call center mu Rwanda kuri iyo company dukorera hano muri Florida.
Okay.
So babashe kumpa amahirwe yo kuko twari dufite guhitamo igihugu cyo hanze. As we know, in America right now, a lot of corporate companies are looking for cheap labor, right? So we had an option to go to Mexico. Of course, me being Rwandese, nashize u Rwanda narabasakurije ati we have to go to Rwanda. Ngira nagize amahirwe company irabyemera. Twatangiye muri December. Ariko ndi kugenda mpura n'utubazo duke kubera lack of connections. To be quite honest, sometimes I don't even know where to start. It could be a little bit frustrating, and also to where I'm now looking, like I didn't know what I was talking about when I was fighting for them to bring it to Rwanda. So we're now having meetings like, should we have went to Mexico? So what advice could you give me, or what should I do, basically? Thank you.
Right. So actually, this is what I was, referring to. I forgot to mention about sports marketing. It's something that we lack, actually, also in East Africa and also in Rwanda, professional artist management, all those things. So I will just tell you, when you are, you're a pioneer, you're a visionary, you're starting something, you just have to hold on to it. Hold on to your vision. I wouldn't say that it's going to be easy. But sometimes when you just, and it's even an advice to everybody who's here, who's a diaspora and trying to do something in the creative or sport industry, of course there are going to be challenges when you come to Africa, because many investors, they haven't really grasped it yet, so there are going to be those challenges. But I think what Africa really needs right now is the knowledge. The fact that you have the knowledge and the will, to me, and just hold on to it. Opportunities like this, will come. Now I'll just to get to know you, and maybe I can lead you to the next connection. But I think, when you are young and you starting something, in your country, and there are going to be those obstacles. But an advice to everybody who's like you, just hold on to the vision, and, opportunities will come. I always tell people, when you, it's luck, I call luck, when preparation meets opportunity. So just stay prepared, an opportunity like this will just happen.
Thank you, Gael. I think we have a perfect person to add some valuable insights to that as well, Michelle Moranti.
Yeah, I wanted to take the opportunity to respond to your question. I feel I needed to react to it. And maybe this is the time where lack meets opportunity. And the reason I say that is because your venture actually falls under what we call the GBS initiative, which is the Global Business Initiative. And this is under the business process outsourcing opportunity that we've identified. It's a new sector. It's been growing over the last couple of years. In Rwanda, we have about 3,500 employed young talent. And so I think that's one of the, sports marketing is one of the areas. So I just first want to congratulate you for making the case to your company. And you've made the first step. I think the hardest part was to convince your board, I'm assuming. So you've done that part. Let us do our part in supporting you and making sure that happens. Pleasure. I wanted to see if Chantal, who leads this program, Chantal, if you're in the room, she's here. Chantal is somewhere, she's hiding. If you could please stand up so she can see you. I really want to make sure that you two connect, and we'll make sure that, you don't need to have connection. I mean, you have a connection right now, but we'll make sure that we understand, what you're requiring in terms of documentation to make that happen for you. And thank you again. I really, really want to commend your efforts in doing that. Yes. Maybe one.
I think we get to experience firsthand the connection part of, this is part of why we come here to connect and give back. Thank you very much. I would like to give a quick comment to Dr. Ensign real quick, and we will wrap the session. Unfortunately, we're out of time.
Maybe just one last point. I wanted to, again, respond to something that Gael mentioned about the IP law. This is a law that actually resides within RDB. And maybe I wanted to rectify that. It does exist. Perhaps the work we need to do, right? And we also need to do the work to create more awareness around it, make sure that artists or young talent within the creative economy knows that we care about their IP, and there's a law that protects them. And so we'll make sure that that's also out there and that people know that. Yes.
Thank you for clarifying that.
So just one last brief comment to Rwandans in the diaspora. You should be extraordinarily proud of what your country has accomplished in 31 years. I first visited your country in 1998, and it was unimaginable then to think that in a few short decades, the great leaders of your country, the one I met then and the ones who are here now, would have led to the following information that the Minister of Foreign Affairs shared. Life expectancy has doubled. You lead in gender equity, more women in parliament than any country in the world. Health care for all, universal primary education, and more. These accomplishments are extraordinary, and most people don't know. I'm sorry, most Americans think Africa's a country, right? So I say to you, don't just counter the disinformation. There's lots of ways to do that. We're using AI out in Eastern Europe to counter the Russian disinformation. Tell the story. All of you, the creative people, the educators, the diaspora, 22 states, 31 communities, take on a topic. Take on a topic and tell the story there, because what's happened in Rwanda in 31 years is miraculous, and it's because of visionary leaders like those here and President Kagame. Celebrate your country.
I love that. Tell the stories. And what better way to tell the stories than, embodying them and leaving in that. Thank you very much. Thank you all for being part of this important conversation. And let's keep the momentum going beyond this room. Thank you.
The Rwanda GBS Growth Initiative is an entity that is established through the partnership of government, development partners, and funders. Its main mandate is investment promotion, advocacy, and talent development. So what that means is that we support or rather handhold investors in their process of setup in the country and ensure that they're scaling. And we don't do that on our own, we do that through the partnership of government. Currently, we have companies that have set up and created over 3,500 jobs. Those companies are either in BPO or ITO and offering services from AI, data labeling, or software development, customer support, back office, finance and accounting, and so many other services.
The current 5-year national strategy for transformation for Rwanda challenges us to create 250,000 jobs annually. Thankfully, our education system that has emphasized on STEM has created capable talent, particularly in technology, and the infrastructure, broadband connectivity, and other enabling infrastructure have been put in place by the government of Rwanda. We have been seeing a growth in the outsourcing, global business services, both BPO and ITO, because companies that are coming to set up in Rwanda find an enabling environment, but also talent that is ready to provide services. Through collaboration with global companies, particularly in North America, we can create more job opportunities for young Rwandans. Just to give you an example, out of the 39 companies we have operating in the country today, 2 of them have been started and brought under by members of the Rwanda community abroad in North America. The first one is Mighty Engineering, and the second one is Current Renewables. Together, they're employing close to 150 young Rwandans. The talent is ready, the environment, infrastructure is ready, and the government, together with our partners, we will support creating these pathways for employment.
Well, mine engineering started in 2019, and we started really small with one engineer from India. We knew that if we can get this to Rwanda, there's talents. I knew down in me that we have a lot of talents here in Rwanda, and all they needed was just opportunity. We help companies with the engineering needs, mainly for solar systems, from residential customers to commercial customers, all the way to utility scale projects. So mine engineering is really a proof that this is possible. It is possible to outsource in Rwanda because we have talents, we have infrastructure, we have everything it takes for a company to be successful.
Our summit is an IT firm that is specialized in providing technology department as a service. So we basically build and manage remote IT teams for organizations all over the world to support their digitalization needs. Our team can be comprised of an AI engineer, data engineer, DevOps engineer, or software engineer, depending on the client needs. As young people, we are supported by the government, where they provide a very good ecosystem for us to grow. Starting with this kind of a platform where we can be able to showcase and talk about our services to global audience. Stable infrastructure that is provided everywhere here in Rwanda, can basically work from anywhere, which is very crucial with the kind of services that we provide. At our summit, we already have different organizations that we are working with that are trusting Rwandan talent. So we would like to call upon the Rwandan diaspora to also be part of that movement. If you have a business idea, or if you're working in an organization that is already outsourcing in a different country, we want you also to be part of that change. We want them to bring those jobs here in Rwanda because we have people, talent that is capable of doing it as well.
Rwanda welcomes GBS investors and talent, whether to invest, whether to relocate, or contribute to the sector in general.
Thank you so much for coming. As we conclude the panels and the day, the official part of the day, I want to say thank you so much for all who have traveled far and near to come here and be with us during the first ever Rwandan Convention. We're hoping this happens a lot more than once. Yes? I don't see any nodding. Yes? Okay. Yeah, so tonight the program continues. We're going to come back here at 7 p.m. So be here. Kevin Kade, Element, and Deben are all going to be here, so please be here. Remember, when we exit, on the other floors, the first and the basement, there's vendors, there are people who have things that have traveled all the way from Kigali to come here and represent what they do back home. So please look at everything. Make sure to go to the basement, and that's it. Thank you so much for coming.
Mwakoze cyane mwiyamashi menshi. Turabashimiye. Twatangira tukasohoka twitegura igice cya kabiri. Mukanya saa moya zuzuye turahurira hano. Haraba hahiye show nibwo itangiye. Ikindi hasi kuri floor ya mbere hari abaje kumurika ibikorwa byabo. Tugerageze tuhanyure turebe ibyo badufitiye. Mwakoze cyane. Turahura mukanya saa moya. Murakoze.
the only way for us to make it is, talking about make America great. Now we have to turn into make Africa great. The one way for us to make Africa great is for us to produce our minerals before they are exported, so that we can actually create jobs. Because the issue is that once we remain a dumping ground, we will never be able to create jobs. And, I'm of the believer that once you continue to import, you are importing poverty and exporting jobs out. So the real issue, old money, a majority of them, they believe in their own continent, be it from Thailand, Indonesia, and other areas. So most of them, they invest their money at home. Both people who have made money legally, people who have made money illegally, the money doesn't leave the countries. They invest it there.
So you're saying that's what we're lacking in Africa, right?
Yeah, well, in Africa, the issue is that, yes, some people, they do make money legally. Some of them, they make their